All right, all right. Another Saturday night. Another Saturday night shoot the breeze. Drop a one for me if you can hear my voice. I should be coming through. So just drop a one for me. Let me know if you can hear my voice, if I sound good. If I don't, let me know before I give you guys the preview. I want to remind you guys about the interview I did. I'm noticing the numbers on that interview is kind of low. You would think that our folks would be a little bit more excited about musical acts that actually push music that has some uplift for our people. Don't prove everyone correct in the notion that we don't really buy conscious music. How can we be a conscious community and we don't buy conscious music? We don't support when conscious musicians are being interviewed and giving you some insight on how they make music, etc., what their philosophy is behind their music, right? Which is black uplift. And then we just ignore it. You know, we just completely just ignore this stuff. So do me a favor if you haven't checked it out already. It's a solid interview, not because of me, but because of who I was interviewing. I play their music as well. So check out the interview. Give it a like, give it a share. Really easy stuff to do, right? And let me just add this too. I don't like to have to, kind of say things like that because it comes across like I'm trying to shame people. But I'm not trying to shame anyone. But the truth is, we have to support those things. Trigger Happy 262 Plus in the chat asks, "Will I do more interviews?" Absolutely. I used to do them in the past with more frequency. I interviewed Maj Toure from Black Guns Matter, and that too had a low viewership, which is wild. I've interviewed folks from Symphony Chips. I'm supposed to look into interviewing Camjaverse. I just got busy with a bunch of stuff here. I'm looking to interview a bunch more people soon, but we gotta support the things that we purport to want, you know. So make sure you guys check those things out. So anyway, I wanted to hop on as usual, let you guys know what we have in store for you guys tonight. We're going to answer the question: is personal growth a reason to divorce? We're going to look at a situation. I saw this, and I'm asking: are black men supposed to be the custodian to this nonsense? You'll see what the nonsense is soon enough. Another interesting one here is about Ogun. They say Ogun and Erinle were lovers. So is homosexuality of Africa. We're going to discuss it. We're going to talk about this guy, Asari Dokubu, who once held office with Nigeria's president and organized some of his national security contracts. We're going to talk about something he sat up on the internet and said. We're going to look at something, if time permits. We're going to look at this thing with Farrakhan telling us the white man and his cohorts are the devil, but we're going to ask and try to answer, is he a double agent producing double talk, right? So those are the topics that we have tonight. Hit the like button for me. Share the episode on your socials. Doesn't cost you a thing to do that. Invite others to come and check out the show tonight. I put the link for the panel. I pinned it to the top of the chat. So anyone who wants to join, by all means, click the link, hop on. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to start the show officially. And on the other side, I will drop and we will discuss Shoot the Breeze topic number 1 tonight. So stay tuned.
You are listening to the Bitter Medicine Podcast on KWAZ Radio. Welcome to the Bitter Medicine Podcast, where it's all about Black empowerment. Our show focuses on Black news and entertainment, arts, science, economics, history, people, and strategies that uplift, empower, and motivate Africans within the diaspora. And now your host, whose favorite color is black, Goku.
Welcome back to the Bitter Medicine Podcast. I am your host, Koku. Just want to remind you guys before we get the show rolling that this show is part of a podcast network called KWAZ Radio. There are other shows on the network you are invited to tune into.
This is the
Hello there, dear listener. We hope you're enjoying this lovely discussion. If you're not already aware, this show is part of a podcast network called KWAZ Radio, a Pan-African nationalist and Garveyite network come to showcasing the rich and varied thoughts of African people. We have an exciting lineup of shows that we think you'll enjoy, including
the Bitter Medicine Podcast.
I think Black people acquire too much buy-in. Like, we constantly have to sell Black people on things that are beneficial to Black people.
The Pro-Black Perspective Podcast.
I'm fearful that our people are not really studying how to get ahead, and we're kind of, continually staying behind.
The Harsh Reality Podcast.
To me, it don't matter. I think people are so dumbed down, it wouldn't matter what you reveal to them. They still are in the matrix. They're in the simulation. They're going to keep doing what they did. They lemmings. So to me, it don't matter, man.
The Learning Curve Podcast.
Sexual access has never given you economic empowerment. The only person who has ever been economically empowered by a sexual relationship is the wasp and his woman.
The Cassidra Cheek Show.
When we start rising up to fight for our own, I guarantee you they'll stop doing what they're doing. I guarantee you they would have let their brother go. They was waiting to see what Black folks was going to do.
Brother Bakari Podcast.
Black people love to claim folks that hate them, right? They're a slave master, and they are ashamed of who they really are.
The 4Kast Radio.
Like, if you pray to the same deity as, like, your enemy, and that God blesses your enemy more than you may want to reconsider who you praying to,
And Tanzan, African Mind.
Africans generally are welcoming of everyone. Sometimes, to my consternation, I think that they should be less, welcoming.
If you love our podcast network, we would be grateful if you could rate and review us on Apple Podcasts. Follow us on social media, like and subscribe to our YouTube channel, and check out our website at www.kwazradio.com for more information. Thank you for tuning in. And now, back to the program.
All right. Yeah, you guys check out those shows. Afro Native World, peace to him. He says, which shows are active on the network? That's a interesting question. That's a very interesting question. But I mean, of course, I do my due diligence. Oni does his. Bakari, 4Kast, they do theirs. Cassidra does hers as well. Haven't heard from Tanzan in a while. Who else am I missing? Homosexuality podcast. They'll be back in the fall. So that's who's currently active right now.
Matron, you forgot.
Well, the matron is inactive. You guys reach out to the matron, see if she'll come back. She's usually around though. Anyway, with that said, we already heard Oni's voice. Oni, how are you this week?
I'm good. Glad to speak before my brother Buana. Nah, Buana be trolling me, man. Nah, he's good people though. But yeah, I'm cool. I mean, shit. Actually, I turned out I got some fires I gotta put out. So that's that.
All right, fireman. Buana, how are you this week?
I'm good, brother. Can you all hear me well?
Yeah, you're good.
Oh, great. Yeah, I'm good, man. I'm good. Shout out to Oni. Yeah, shout out to Danny. I can leave that there. I can mess with him yet. But you good though, Koku? You good?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm hanging in.
Okay. Hey, remember, you know what Monday is, right? But yeah, Monday is when we get together to pretend that it's Independence Day.
For the 50th time, we will pretend it's Independence Day. Yeah. I'm looking at this. It is Oni, is Twitter still doing that rate limiting nonsense?
I don't even know, but I don't think so.
But for some reason, this video is not coming up, and it's pissing me off. I can see the post, but I can't see the video itself. I don't know what that's about. It's throwing me off. Okay, wait, maybe I have it now. All right, I think I have it now. So with that said, let's go to Shoot the Breeze topic number 1 tonight. Shoot the Breeze topic number 1 is personal growth a reason to divorce? This came with a link, of course. Takes us to Twitter. You guys might have seen this about 2 weeks ago. Let's watch. I'll play it twice. There's only 1 minute. Let's watch and then we'll discuss it.
My 20s and 30s. Last year I turned 40, and these are things that I would not do again in my 20s and 30s. I would not get married. I met my husband when I was 24, and we got married when I was 29. At the time, I thought that this was like the ideal situation. I'm at the perfect age to get married. But what I realized was in the 4 years that we were married, I grew so much as a person. I graduated from business school, started my own business. I just became such a different person that I didn't feel like he was the best fit for me anymore. And I don't think I could have realized that at 29 when I said yes. If I could do it again, I would have allowed myself to have so much more growth in my life before I made a decision on a life partner. And it's really nothing against that partner specifically, but it was more about the direction that I wanted my life to take. My interests by 35 were unrecognizable to my younger self. And I don't think it would have been fair for me to take him on this journey if I didn't think that he was the right partner for the version of me that was to come. Last year I turned 40, and these are things that I would not do again in my 20s and 30s. I would not get married. I met my husband when I was 24, and we got married when I was 29. At the time, I thought that this was like the ideal situation. I'm at the perfect age to get married. But what I realized was in the 4 years that we were married, I grew so much as a person. I graduated from business school, started my own business. I just became such a different person that I didn't feel like he was the best fit for me anymore. And I don't think I could have realized that at 29 when I said yes. If I could do it again, I would have allowed myself to have so much more growth in my life before I made a decision on a life partner. And it's really nothing against that partner specifically, but it was more about the direction that I wanted my life to take. My interests by 35 were unrecognizable to my younger self. And I don't think it would have been fair for me to take him on this journey if I didn't think that he was the right partner for the version of me that was to come. Last year I turned 40, and these are
Sorry, couldn't find the mute button. So yeah, some of you on Twitter and things of that nature, you might have seen this. You might have seen this about 2 or 3 weeks ago. This was making the rounds. I think it was like 2 weeks ago. This was making the rounds, and of course there was discussions. And as I was watching it, it also reminded me of what's going on now with the Keke Palmer situation, which is not going to be a topic because I'm not in the mood to hear no simping. But there's a interesting thing happening here, where, in my opinion, when women start to progress, it's becoming like a normalized thing to just discard a man. But when men were the ones, the breadwinners and this, that, and the other, y'all didn't talk about discarding no man then. You know what I mean? So it's very interesting what's happening. And unfortunately, I think our people are following this dynamic as well. Yana B in the chat says she is capping. She's an ABC liberal. That's all. And that's funny thing about that is we gotta look at ourselves. Is that what in America? Is that what we have going on here as well? But I digress. Let me throw it to Oni. Actually, let me throw it to Buana first. Buana, what says it?
What? Well, Coco, we had a phenomenon in the Bahamas. In the Bahamas, there used to be a phenomenon where the men used to go to work after they finish high school, and a lot of the women start entering colleges, and trying to get office careers, white collar careers. And within that 4-year period, you would see the women, progress, become more academic, and after a while, or when they graduate, get their BA or masters, they figure, well, this man is no longer good enough for me. Now, when in all that time, he possibly was paying bills, he possibly was paying tuition, he was paying into a whole lot of things because he was working while he may have dated a girl who was going to college or university. And all of a sudden, she decides to upscale her life, and that man is no longer compatible with her. I always say, and I always believe, that if your partner is going in a direction that seems to be progressive, you should do little things to improve yourself as well. You don't necessarily have to go to college or university, but you should work on your own self-improvement. Even if you decide not to go to college, try to be the best at whatever industry that you are in, because compatibility is important. And not only academic compatibility, economic compatibility, there are other things. Now, some women decide that they want to live their best life when they reach a certain age, and they just don't want to be with you. They want that bottom shelf bride, that coup de grace. This lady was probably, I don't know who her mates were, but I think that she wanted to, I guess, live her best life. Some women are for the streets, some women are state property. Women have the right to change their mind as well, no problem. There are other options for the brothers. But what I would say is, if you with a partner, a wife, girlfriend, whoever, and they are trying to improve themselves, you do little things to improve yourself as well. Don't stay in the same position. Don't stay in the same position because, her suitors or her options are going to improve. And you always want to keep yourself in a situation where that you could trade off your capabilities as well. If she decides to leave and find another partner, you are in an advantageous position as well, where you could upscale as well. No love loss. She goes her way, you go your way. But this whole thing of ditching men because all of a sudden, I am in an academic position, so no one can tell me nothing. It's just a situation within the modern world. And some of our women, unfortunately, they for the streets, and if they want to go that way, they could go that way. Every woman is not committed to commitment as it was in the past. And I think that men should not walk through the world with blinders on, nor women, because men been doing it as well. So I don't want to just make this a one-sided thing. So I think that with our partnerships, we should be intelligent and smart. Women change their mind, men change their mind. Women decide to upgrade or downgrade. Men decide to upgrade or downgrade. Go into relationships with your eyes wide open, and don't put yourself in a disadvantaged situation. But I'll leave it there.
I hear you, Buana. I think that's still giving a pass, though. And I'll say this. When men did that, men didn't hit the end of that shit. When men rose to a certain point and they got rid of this woman, men didn't hit the end of that. In fact, people still bring that up about Kanye West. People still bring up that he ditched the black woman he was dating, blah, 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 blah. Right? I hear you, and I agree with much of what you said. But what if you're a man and you just, you know what? I'm cool where I'm at. I'm good in my industry. I have a good life. Why should I have to keep up with her because she decides she wants to go further in some direction? So what would you say to that? If a man is good where he is, right, and you decided to go and get some education or get some additional education, why should that personal growth mean the end of an otherwise good relationship? See, that's the thing I think we gloss over.
Because Coco, you don't want that female to make you miserable, because internally she will feel and you could call her selfish if you wish, but she will feel, oh man, I've outgrown this man. Me and him can't have conversations anymore. I want something different. This is in their minds. And if they stay with you in that scenario, they're gonna make you miserable. So for me, it would be better for you all to part company. Find a woman who doesn't have a problem with where you are. If you are comfortable where you are, find a woman who is suitable and comfortable for you. You don't want to. Why stress yourself, brother, when you have so much other options? Let her go fly. Let her go fly. But if you comfortable and happy, why make yourself miserable? Why bother, brother? Why bother?
Yeah, that's my point too, though, Buana. Things was okay. We was comfortable before. Now you went and got a master's degree and you want to turn this whole shit inside out. I have a problem with that. I have a problem with that.
Bro, that's some of these modern women.
You know it.
That's some of these modern women.
Yeah, I find that. I mean, I hear you and I agree. I don't know, something weird's going on my computer, I think. But I find that real. Anyway, Bonnie, you want to add any last thoughts there, or should I go on to Oni?
No, I'm good. You can let him rock.
All right, Oni, is personal growth a reason to divorce? What say you?
Shit. Well, I don't know. Wait. I guess am I the only person divorced? I don't know. I might be the only person divorced on the panel. So, but fuck yeah. No, I'm just no. What I would say is this. So, I'm doing a risky thing right now. Okay, a risky thing. Let's say I'm talking to this woman, right? And then
Oni, you sound kind of far.
I sound far? Oh shit! Hold on a second. Let me fix this. Hold on a second. My fault. Okay, how about now? Better, right?
Oh yeah, perfect. Perfect. Yeah, go ahead.
All right. So let's say I'm talking to this woman and I say, "Hey, look, I'm gonna hook you up with a good income, right? No, I'm gonna hook you up with a good business, right? To the point where she's now self-sufficient and like she can provide for herself, right? That's I have to be good in other things. You get what I'm saying? And not just that, but obviously I got to be good in other things, whether it's conversation, whether it's, the bedroom or whatever, because you done messed up if your woman is self-sufficient. And that's generally how it is in the world, just generally in the world when it comes to nations. The way how the system that we're talking about before is that if for instance, you're in relationships where you're codependent, right? then like you're okay, right? If you're in a relationship where the woman is dependent on you, then you're okay. But if you're in a relationship where you're dependent on a woman as a man, you done fucked up. Okay? You done fucked up. You as a man, and then even if you're if you're in a situation where you're earning less than your woman, you done messed up. You understand? Unless you have some other redeemable qualities for you, right? Unless you know how to lay the pipe, you know how to fix the pipe, you know how to you just good with pipes in general. Unless that's your shtick or whatever, right? You done messed up because like I'm thinking of when when things weren't all that good for me, and I'm eating sardines or something, sardines and rice, or I'm eating pastas and so on and so forth, right? Because I'm looking back over things that went wrong in my old relationship. Not saying I was that broke, but let's just say I was, right? The reality is this: if you're on that wavelength, but then one of you, or let's say the woman gets out of that wavelength, she's not taking you with her. Okay, now as a man, you could take her with you because again, she probably has some other redeemable qualities. You get what I'm saying? You're not with her because you want her financial stability, right? And that's another thing to be mindful of as men, that sometimes you might have to go for the woman who doesn't who doesn't necessarily have financial ambitions per se. You might have to go for the woman who has family ambitions or the ambitions to treat you well. You know what I mean? Like some women would tell me, like in my culture, I treat a man like a king. You know what I mean? Whatever he wants, he gets. You know what I'm saying? All that requires, obviously, if I'm not working, then he just has to buy the groceries. Okay? That kind of woman is different from the woman in front of us. The woman in front of us is like, hey, I want to trade I don't know, let's say microprocessors with Japan. Okay? She wants to trade microprocessors with Japan. That lady, right? She's rubbing shoulders with a bunch of Japanese men about microprocessors. And they are, worth 10 million, 30 million, 50 million, whatever, right? And then you come back, you like, remember that time we used to eat sardines? Yeah, of course I do. But now I'm eating caviar. And no, I'm not going to sit around and eat, sardines in front of, on your neighbor's internet watching Hulu. I'm not going to do that, And look, I don't blame her if that's the case, but that comes back to us men and how we think. Because like you said with the Kanye example, where Kanye says, he gonna meet a white woman and no, he gonna leave a black woman for a white woman, right? Kanye wanted a white woman all along. He wanted a white woman all along. He's one of those guys who dreamed of getting a white woman all along. If you're a black woman, and the woman he was talking about wasn't even black, or whatever, but you're a black woman, and you see this man has white envy, don't be surprised that when he raises his socioeconomic status, he's going to leave you for a white girl. This woman has money envy. And that's what I'm saying. That's why there's this skit of this Arab man where he's like, he got 4 wives, so he went to a car dealership and he bought 4 cars, each, several $1 million, whatever, right? And he had the money to back it up. Now, it's a skit, right? He's like, some woman sent me, she was like, oh, who wouldn't want to be one of his wives? Right? And that's already her telling me, if this Arab man had petitioned me, I would go for him. Notwithstanding my commitment to you. You understand? She's like some people, Maya Angelou tells us, when somebody tells you who they are, believe them the first time. Whoever was dating this woman had 5 damn years of dating her to figure out that she was not about nothing but the career. Okay? She was not nothing about except for, rising up inside of her profession. If you know that's what a woman's on, and that's her wavelength, right? Unless that's what you're looking for, right? Unless that's what you're looking for, Give it a pass. I know it seems nice and ambitious. Trust me. There was this one woman I was talking to. She was a career-minded woman. She was an intellectual. She was nice. It was good. It was fun. But then I realized, you know what? That's not the way. This is not the feeling that I want. This is not what I want. Is she good? Is she cool? Sure. But you got to know, right? You got to know when you're engaging with a woman, whether that's a long term or short term or a fling. This woman's a short term or no term. You understand? And that's on the dude. I think it was a long time coming. And I'll tell you, when it comes to divorce, because I happen to know about divorce. When it comes to, for instance, my marriage with this woman that I married to, she would tell me, like, she was upfront, hey, you know what? I'm actually a selfish woman. Oh, you know what? I'm actually this. I'm actually that. I'm oh, you know what? I might not make a good mother. And I would just ignore it and be like, oh, well, I mean, everybody can change and things could go better and blah, blah. That's on me. And of course, I suffer the consequences. So yeah, that's it's like you as a person, if you're dating somebody, you should read the writing on the walls. If she was hiding her shit for 5 freaking years, right? That's on you. Because see, me, I married quick. I shouldn't have married that quick. I ain't have no 5 years of exposure. This man had 5 years of exposure with this woman from she was 24 to 29, and he couldn't tell that she was trying to trying to run the world. That's on the dude.
My thing is,
I think that's fucked up. I think it's fucked up to put it on the dude, right? Because my thing is this. I'm gonna be quick. My thing is, people do love people, and what we're starting to push now in society is these highly transactional relationships. And the guy might have just loved this broad here, and thought that we'll make it like you did. It seems, Oni, right? We'll make this thing. People will change because if we love one another, you'll do the work and blah, blah, blah. But now he has to get blamed because he married a broad who then wanted to go on and be a boss chick and couldn't humble herself and say, yo, I can do both. I could be a boss chick in one instance, and I could be a loving wife in the next. Like, are we? Nah. Is that where we are now?
My thing is in how I date the women as an older man. I tend to do a little bit of digging, and I try to find out what the woman who I'm with, what she respects, because I have found that the women who usually they had some male figure in their life, a father, an older brother, who they love and honor and respect from childhood, right? If they see the relationship, the interplay between that woman and that man, father, older brother, is one of respect, is one of love, is one of honor, then I kind of like use my GPS system in my mind to say, okay, so this is what she respects. So if I am a man coming into her life, she wouldn't see me as a competitor or as a threat to whatever she's trying to do, because she honors these things. This is something that she is used to and comfortable with. You know what I mean? So it doesn't make my GPS and tracking perfect, because you get your outliers. But usually the case is, if a woman honors and respects the man in her life, father, older brother, etc., usually I could come in and fill the role of so-called manhood. But if I'm dating a woman who hasn't seen a man for generations, who hasn't seen him, don't even know how to deal with that aspect, or that male aspect, don't even know how to handle that scenario. It becomes more difficult for her. As for me, being opposite sex, coming in and trying to dictate and tell her, well, you do it like this. This is where you need to go. Given certain directions and guidance. She's not necessarily gonna respect that, because she's not used to or comfortable with that. But for me, that is my gauge. It's not always perfect, but for me, that gives me a sense of what this woman is gonna eventually do, in terms of how she's gonna think and how she's gonna be directed. Granted, she may be a professional woman, but what does she respect in her personal life? What does she honor? And some women do, some women do not.
Yeah, Juana, let me ask you this then. So a woman hates her father. Okay, she hates her father, and you mess with her. Who's to blame?
Me. I'm to
Exactly.
blame. I'm to blame. And the reason why I'm to blame. No, the reason why I'm to blame is that as an intelligent human being, I should have not engaged with her. I should
exactly.
The brother right now, who he's talking about, Keke Palmer, right? He stick his whatever inside Keke Palmer, and he created a legacy with her. Now, I don't know what investigation or understanding he had about this particular woman prior to sticking his legacy inside of her. But the long-term effect is going to be what the long-term effect is, because she may be a woman of the world. She may say, you can't tell me what to wear. There's some of these chicks out here. You can't tell, she may be a very adversarial type of female and don't honor whatever her mind's word is, despite the fact that may be her baby's father. She may have come from a tradition of that. Coming from a tradition of that. So the even Kanye West, even Kanye West and what he did, didn't he understand who his wife's mother was with O.J. Simpson and what they did back in the day? Come on, man. You need to you have to understand, with the females you decide to reproduce with, you are voluntarily giving her your legacy. Now, if this woman is touched in the head, if she is for the streets, she's gonna impart that philosophy to that child. So you must use some wisdom in who you decide to voluntarily give your personal legacy to. Because after you finish and leave this planet, that legacy is going to be left. And if you was with a dumb woman, she can impart dumbness into that child, despite the fact that you was an intelligent man. So I believe that men should use wisdom. You know what I mean? See,
exactly.
Some people tell me, say, a man tell me, say, when a man penis is alive, his brain is dead. Why? Because the blood rushes from your brain to your penis, so you are using reason no more. And I say you have to think twice, take a second, and understand, if I stick my dick in this, if I stick my legacy in this woman, you know what I mean, and she produces a child, what am I gonna leave behind for the future generation? Because it goes to that. And I understand people just want to have sex and different things, like they want a Friday night Hennessy F, but sometimes you have to think twice in a woman that you decide to bear down with. But that's an old man talking. So
no, it's not old man talking. That's wisdom, and we have to, we have to speak up as men. That men have to make better decisions because there are bad women out there. But again, you don't blame the bad woman because she's a bad woman. It's like if I say, hey, can you watch my kid? While I go, blah, blah, blah. I mean, maybe in the case of maybe watching your kid for if you go on a babysitter, maybe that's okay. But, I'm just saying, a perfect stranger, you just leave your kid with a perfect stranger. That's on you. There's a bad, you have to learn discernment. You have to read red flags, because that same question I asked Buana about what if a woman hates her father? My son's mother hated her father. And I said, well, that got nothing to do with her. It was a damn blaring red flag. And so, I'll tell y'all this, because, I'm going through it. You know what I'm saying? When we were breaking up, right? No. What happened was that at some point in our relationship, she took my phone. Like we were separated. One of me says, what if you only know you do blame the bad woman? Oh yeah. So she took my phone, right? and like just started reading through my text, like locked the bedroom door, reading through my text, even called the woman because we were separated. Called the woman I was dating, right, and told her, hey, he got a STD, you know, and I don't, but that's what she did, you know, just to sabotage my shit. So in order to get out of her room, right, in order to get out of the room so that I could, you know, get my phone back, I decided to pick up her journal that she left out and read through it. And so, you know, quite a few things that, you know, stick with me. Okay. One of them was something along the lines of, I know you're like, why are you talking about this? Well, you know, this woman's a freaking mess. But anyway, one of the things, damn, I forgot what I was going to say, but I was just giving top background. But the point being this, that you get these red flags, okay, and you ignore them, okay? We as men, we ignore them. Sure, you could like sure, you know, like Jonas says, you could blame you know, you could put the blame on the bad woman. That's fine. Obviously, blame the bad woman. But the thing is this, you as a man have to pay attention. You cannot be naive. You cannot drop your guard. You cannot expect people to change. Okay? You cannot. And if you're dealing with a bad person and you know they're a bad person, because one of the things that, for instance, because like I said, she documented quite a few stuff inside of that journal, right? One of the things that she noted or she notes was that I used to always be like, oh, this is a bad person. Like I used to tell her, hey, you're actually a bad person. You know what I'm saying? You know, I was that guy. But like that, but I still married her and had a child with her. And then I go through it and I suffer because I'm of this belief, hey, you know what? There's good people out. I mean, you know, people can be good or bad. You know that naivete. Oh yeah, that's the thing I was gonna tell. So in her journal, she said something like, "Me and Oni got into a brutal fight." And so you wonder what was? I'm like, what? We got into a brutal fight when? Right? And she's talking about, oh, I think while I was, you know, carrying the groceries, okay, like I guess one of the bottles of pasta fell and broke on the street. And she's like, it was $2.50. And so we had a big fight over that. That's what it fucking was. Right? That's the misery that I had to go through, where it was you lost $2.50 and then you're fighting for days over it. And you're being called a brutalizer and abuser for it. And why? Because her dad was a brutalizer and abuser. And so numerous occasions, she's like, this guy's just like my dad. He's just my dad. And I'm not doing nothing. You understand? But, and I think I pointed this out earlier today when somebody was talking about something. I think I pointed out that because I realized what was being done is that a lot of people hate their fathers. A lot of these women hate their fathers, and they project that relationship, like they project that hatred onto strangers. In this case, it was me.
But
you know, yeah, man.
That makes the woman wrong. See, this is the thing. I'm sitting back and I'm letting you talk because I realize it's a little bit of a session, a therapy session for you. But
all right, no. Well, I'm not saying she's not wrong, my guy. But the thing is this: I should have never married her. She's wrong. And she's bad. She's wrong. She's not good. But like, I'll be honest with you. I kind of pushed her to marriage. You understand?
Here's the thing.
Oni. Go ahead, Coco. Go ahead.
Here's the thing. I feel your pain. I've been through that before too. It wasn't, but the difference was this person didn't show no signs of man hate, father hate, no signs of projection. This person just was an asshole, right? But what I'm saying is, right, Buana, what I'm saying is, why am I wrong? Or why is a man wrong? Because every week I come on Shoot the Breeze, men are always wrong. I'm noticing this, right? Men are always wrong. Women are never wrong, right? Why is a man wrong for falling for a woman, right? And deciding that, you know what, she likes me too, she loves me too, and I'm going to, I want to become the father to her children, the provider, the protector. Why is a man wrong for those emotions, those feelings, right? When this woman, instead of her get her shit together, forget about your father. Your father's not in this relationship. Deal with me as I deal with Oni as Oni is. Forget about your father now. That's done with already. It happened. It's gone. Are you gonna hate your son because of your father too? Come on, man. Come on. We have discernment.
No comment.
I want the brothers, because I'm listening. I'm listening very, very carefully. I want the brothers them to forgive themselves for making a mistake. It's okay. It's okay to make a mistake. You all brothers in your boyfriend. You date women who you fall in love with, and at the time, you thought that this was the best person for me. And unfortunately, it didn't turn out the way that you expected it to. It may make the woman a bad person. She may be a bad person, but it could be the fact that you all were not compatible with one another. And I think that sometimes men take on completely the responsibility for the degradation of a relationship. And I think that that's not fair. I think that the brothers are too hard on themselves, and they need to forgive themselves, because you make a mistake. Black people, I see this in the black community. Yeah. The black people in the black community, they don't like to fail or accept failure. And I want the brothers them sometimes that embrace failure, because it's only through failing you find success. It's only through, sometimes, not always, but we are risk averse in the black community. We don't want to ever be caught out there, or be seemingly to be thought of as a fool, or thought of as a person who make a decision that was disadvantageous to themselves. But in reality, in real life, in the real world, people make mistakes. They make decisions that they regret. It don't make you all bad men. It does not make you all bad men. It just make, at the time, you all may have made a decision that when you all really consider it, say, well, man, I make a mistake. You move on from that shit and find something that is advantageous to your brothers. Don't hang up. You all have too much hang ups.
Let me
forgive
say
yourself.
So I think Koku asked why are we well, not really male bashing really, but why are we blaming the men, right? And the thing is, the reason is because we're men, and that's how men, like, men should be trying to correct men, right? Like, leave the correction of women to women. What men should be doing is telling us what we can do better for ourselves, what kind of agency we have for ourselves. You know what I'm saying? And that like, I think that, because it's easy to be like, hey, you know what? Women ain't shit, or women is this, women is that. But what I'm telling you is, look, I mean, like, because, like, obviously there's a lot of shitty women, but the whole objective is not to, look at the shitty women, forget them. You know what I mean? If you want to bust a nut, go bust a nut with one, but just forget them. They're not serious. What we as men have to do is just say, look, man, that's a red flag, but look for the women who are good. Because what I can tell you is this: when you travel abroad, you realize there's actually a lot of good women. There's also a lot of crap women, but there's also a lot of good women. And that is the big difference, And like I said, the red flags are there. I can tell y'all. Like I said, I used to talk to these women. One of these women was like, I was like, they like all right. So some women want transactions, and some women don't. But if you pick up on a woman who wants transactions, you got to know your fucking budget. There was this one woman who was like, hey, I would like this, I would like an iPhone, right? And I'm just like, okay, no, thank you. You know what I'm saying? Because I already knew it was out of my budget. You know what I mean?
It's only because you went through that personal experience and that personal pain in your life, you understand clearer how to differentiate between the good and the bad.
That's what we have to do. We have to tell our brothers. We have to tell our brothers how to differentiate, because if we're not doing that, we're just saying, well, for instance, we just say all the women are bad, or relationships are going blah blah, right? You're not helping brothers to get good relationships. What our goal should be: how can we get brothers to good relationships, not just to tell brothers that there's bad relationships, because we already know that.
Yeah, but brothers don't have to be the fault. Brothers don't have to be the fault in all of these bad relationships. We could be honest about it and say, listen, the mentality of women today is not conducive to that traditional thinking that a lot of us were brought up into. I'm going to tell you something. And Buana should know that. I think Buana's a couple years younger than me, but he should know this too. We come out of this, especially Caribbean folks, we come out of this culture where we come out of high school almost looking for a wife. And, you know, and why is it our fault if we have that mindset? And she didn't hold up her part. I was talking with Azuli about this about a month ago. And he's the one who kind of took me out of a certain thinking. He was like, yo, we weren't wrong for having that mindset, that outlook on life, that outlook on dating and this, that, and the other. They didn't have the right mindset. And I agree with you. Our job is to help other men understand what's going on. And it's simply this. The mindset of women today, unfortunately, is not our fault per se, right? Damn sure it ain't my fault. But the mindset is one where they're not going to really do the things that we have in our minds are the things that we want to do. That's just what it is. It's transactional. There's a young brother. I keep seeing this clip on Instagram. He was making a statement. I'm not going to get into the whole conversation, but he was talking about how the good women, the so-called good women, are standing too close to the hoes, and we can't tell the difference no more. That's not my fault. You know what I'm saying? That's not my fault. So what I want to get across to the young black men is, yes, you got to use discernment. You got to use judgment. And it's not your fault that you have to do this. If you're a woman, for example, who hates her father or whatever, then why are you in the dating pool? Remove yourself from the shit. Or go date women or some shit. Why are you in the dating pool? So you're out here, right? I come across like a dummy. I fall for you, and it's my fault that you hate men? Man, come on. No, it's too far. Oh, it only fell off. Sorry about that. Go ahead, Juan.
Go ahead, Oni. Go ahead.
Oh, yeah. No, I mean, look. I mean, like I said, like, I'm going by real experience. You know what I mean? I'm not saying that, you know, the experience is not real for other people. What I'm saying is that, like I said, I look at this journal, and I said, apparently right after the first dinner with her family, I was like, I don't want to go eat dinner with your family again. Like, and again, I mean, look, I'm not saying blame me because shit, dude, you jumped into the fucking lion's den, right? You should have known better. Like, you should, like, you know, like the lady, like, because again, you know, it's complicated, right? What I would say is this, because it's complicated, right? All you can do is tell your brothers, because you're a man. All you could do is tell your brothers, hey, you know, the good ones, right? Just look for the good sisters. Okay? It's gonna be hard, but we also have to remember that for the sisters, it's hard to find good brothers. Okay? For the sisters, it's hard to find good brothers too.
And that's our fault too, right?
It's your fault. No. What? No. Nah, of course not. But what I'm saying is that if, like, for instance, let's say if we were women, right? We would tell the sisters, hey, look, no, I mean, like, we were women, we would be talking about, hey, girl, you got to stop going for, you know, not to offend my brother Bakari, but you got to be like, well, you got to stop going for Pookie and Ray Ray. You understand? If we were women, but we're not women, we're men. Okay? And because we're men, we're telling us, hey guys, look, if the woman hates her father, that's a fucking red flag. You understand? And not just that, another thing I picked up on is this, real talk, men, we do tough love with each other. You know? So, you know, I mean, it is aggravating. I remember one brother used to call me fat all the time until I started losing weight, and then I just told him, fuck you. You know what I'm saying? like fuck you call me fat for. But that's what it is. And I was a little personal story. It's a little weird, but you know, one of the first women I messed with, she was one of those you know, highly educated women, right? And it's a little personal little embarrassing. I was embarrassed the first time thing, but she was one of them, and we would have some good, good times in the room, whatever. Yeah, it's only, so I'm gonna talk about it. But anyway, no, it's like I was like my virginity shit, right? But she would say, "Oh, I'm a porn star," right? And I was like, "What?" And and I'm like, "What, really?" And she's like, "No, I'm just joking, ha, ha, ha," right? And so she wasn't a porn star. What happened was, well, let's just say she wasn't safe. Okay. Luckily, I didn't get nothing from her. But the point is, when I told these brothers, I sat down and I told these brothers, like I was sad. I was, well, what's going on? I don't know what's my life. Oh no, I got to go to the doctor and all that shit, right? And I'm gonna, like I said, I was clean, right? Because she, whatever, right? You know what the dudes did? Started singing "One Man Can't Satisfy Her." Like, so the 90s was a little toxic. And men are just we're generally kind of just rougher on each other. So I know that was a little too much information, right? A little TMI. But my point being that, yeah, I mean, it's not the best thing for dudes to, talk as we do and be rough with each other, but that's just how we are. We are, a lot of us are from the 90s, a lot of us are whatever, or 80s, 90s, whatever, right? Like 80s, 90s, 70s, whatever. And we kind of, we show tough love, and tough love is, hey, dude, you put your dick in if you put your dick in a if a woman tell, like, for instance, the red flag was when the woman said, "Oh, I'm a porn star," and I was like, "What?" And she was like, just joking, right? And and it was a red flag, but I was just like, okay, whatever. I mean, sex is good. She's not a porn star, so it is what it is, like I said, fortunately, nothing. I never got nothing from it. But my point being, if you, like one, if you tell your boys, hey, look, this woman gave me this woman had a red flag, and they're like, oh, really? So you saw that and you just still proceeded, then you're the dummy. That's it. I mean, of course she's a bad woman. There's plenty of bad women. Everybody knows there's streetwalkers. You know what I'm saying? But like, if you go to a streetwalker, that's on you. You see what I'm saying?
What I would say, what I would
no, TMI, right?
What I would tell the young brothers is, I grew up in a culture where you're supposed to sleep with as many women as possible. That's the culture I grew up in. But understanding where we are right now, the times we living in, and the price of vagina is dramatically gone down. Dramatically. What I would tell the brothers is, that's the first thing I would tell the young brothers. It's okay to decline the invitation for sex. Not all the time you have an invitation to lay down with a woman in the bed. You have to accept that invitation. You know how you have to treat your manhood just like how the woman is treat her womanhood, her vagina. Which means a woman back in the day, not now, but back in the day, women used to use discretion with the man they decided to allow into them. Well, nowadays, I think that men should use discretion on who they decide to give their penises to. You know what I mean? Because the price of vagina is cheap now. Every woman want to just give it away for nothing. And when you engage with all these women, you engage in all their bad habits, you engage in their personalities, you engage in their bad attitudes. You don't want that. So you should use discretion. And I understand it's difficult because because of biology, that's a difficult thing. But the times we living in now can't facilitate that. So you should use your manhood in the same way the women use their womanhood, man. Use discretion. When you decide to give away yourself, give away your penis or whatever, it's almost like you doing a woman a favor. So she have to earn that right to lay down in the bed with you. Just in the same way, 'cause I know it's twisted because women think the same way. It's like, okay, he did certain things to earn this pussy. So in the same way, you have to have the mentality is that woman have to do certain things to earn me giving her some of my dick. And it sounds twisted, but that's just how it needs to be. We living in 2023, and men should use more discretion with who they lay down in the bed with. It is what it is.
Exactly.
Don't accept every invitation for sex.
You gotta remember what.
Hold on, because I do want to move on. We can't stay on this forever.
Yeah, man.
This will be the night I will remember only for dating Mariah Mills, apparently, back in the day.
She was nice.
Sister Raw is here. I haven't seen you here in a while, Sister Raw. She says, you say you attract what you be. Very interesting. I'll give the last word here to Daily Affirmations by Pauline, my hometown folks. She says, loving the discussion. I'm glad you guys appreciate the discussion that we're having. But for time's sake, though, it's already 9. Let me go to Shoot the Breeze topic number 2. You can always bring back that kind of discussion again in the future. Pardon me?
No. I thought you were gonna do the lady. No, I thought the lady, the trash woman you were gonna show, but never mind. That's later.
Oh, okay. Shoot the Breeze topic number 2 is suck my teeth the whole time. What is this brother to do? Let me share the screen. It's a 7-minute video, so we'll sit back and watch, and then we'll have our commentary. Y'all stay tuned.
I really hate to be talking about what I'm about to talk about. And right now, what that is I'm facing probably having to leave Ghana. You know, before I even came here, I had all my ducks in a row. I watched a lot of YouTube videos of a lot of people coming to not just Ghana, but other African countries. They was coming and they was not prepared. So I told myself, I want to prepare myself. I don't want to, come and fail, My motto was always failure is not an option. All right, so I did everything that I had to do to prepare myself to come here. I built me a house. I started building me a house before I even came to Ghana. Because one, I was trying to knock myself out of rent. I heard a lot of people coming here, trying to build houses while they're renting off of a small income. And that makes it impossible to do. So I built me a house. And I said, I want to fix me some income, to where I don't have anything to worry about. Here, the only bills I have here is my light bill. I have house help. I pay her monthly. And I have a weekly grocery bill, to eat. Very easy to do. Like I say, the small business that I have in America, it's enough to have me living comfortable. Not rich, but I'm living comfortable. I'm able to survive weekly, and I had everything together. But what's killing me is my expenses in America. My American expenses is killing me. And what that is my phone bill. I have a phone bill through Xfinity. I have a brother that's in the penitentiary. He has 15 years. His calls is killing me because it's $1 a minute. His calls is killing me, all right? And I was trying to battle with that. Between my brother and his calls, I have a storage facility. Before I moved to Ghana, I used to live in Michigan. Before Michigan, I lived in Texas. I was living in Texas and I got a spur of the moment job offer to move to Michigan. When I did that, I put all my things in storage. I moved to Michigan, ended up staying there for 8 years. So I had some things in storage for 8 years. And it was okay because when I was working in Michigan, I had a pretty decent job. So I came to Ghana and I still had that storage that I was paying for. Okay, and I left my son in Michigan. All right, I hope you understand it. All right, so I'm originally from Texas. I moved to Michigan, and I took my son there with me. I got him on at the job while working there. Well, when I left, he lost the job, and he found him another job. And I have furniture there in Michigan, but he was making a nice amount of money to be able to pay rent, and I was helping him with the rent monthly because I do have furniture there. So he called me and tell me he wants to go to the military, and I'm so happy about that. But he needs to go right now. And the good thing is my lease is up in August, so I have to come there and think about the expenses. I have to fly there, get my things out of storage, take them down to Texas, where I already have the storage. But to save myself money, I do have a small building in Huntsville, Texas, to where I'm going to take all the things from Michigan, put them in my building in Huntsville, Texas, go get the things that has been in storage for all of these years and put those in my little building so I can save myself storage fees. All right. In November, okay, I have 4 kids. In November, my 14-year-old's mom died. Okay. She died, so I wanted her to come here to Ghana. For one, I wanted all of my kids to come to Ghana. When I first built this big old house, I thought that my kids was coming. Even when I was there working, my daughter would call and she wanted help, and I was helping her, try to help her to the best of my abilities. And I even told her, hey, it's cheaper for me to send you to Africa so I can take care of you a little better because it's cheaper to live here if you have US dollars. She said, no, she didn't want to do that. But oh my God, this little girl is in my pocket. She's in my pocket. So right now, I'm obligated to help her because I sent my 14-year-old daughter to live with her. So I'm obligated to help her. But the place that she moved in is so expensive, very expensive, very expensive. So this time of year, the business I have is extremely slow, which I'm able to live because it don't take much to live here in Ghana. My business is extremely slow. So the little money that I was trying to save, my brother is taking it, my daughter is taking it, and I'm in panic mode right now. I don't know what to do. I do have a job offer in Tennessee that I do not want to take. And it just hurts me that I have all my stuff together. I have all my stuff together to be able to live here in Ghana comfortably with the little pennies that I have coming. But America, my kids in America, my brother in America is killing me. And I really hate to come back. But I'm going to have to come back because they have taken the little savings that I had. I haven't even been able to work on my building. Because like I say, my business is slow. And again, I repeat, with that business being slow, if I didn't have all these American expenses, I can still survive. All the things that you guys see me doing in the video, I'm still able to do that. Actually, right now, I'm at the bus station right now because I'm going to Accra. I have a Nigerian friend that has came to Ghana for her first time, and she wanted to, kind of show her around. So you will be seeing a video of that. So, do you guys have any suggestions? What would you guys do?
This one of them fellas here, you can't drink around him, boy. He'll sober you up real fast and waste your rum. Let's welcome our boy. I haven't seen you in a while. Let's welcome Jacadero to the show. How are you?
What's going on, man? How are you guys?
Good. I haven't seen you in a bit. What do you feel about what you just saw in that video?
I came in late. I caught the end of what he was saying. He's in Ghana, it sounds like.
Yeah.
and he's asking about what should he do. Is that what was?
He. It's a little longer than that. So I tell you what. Let me go to the other guys. You listen to the conversation, and then if you want to chip in, you can chip in after. Buana, what say you to this joy killer on the screen?
Yeah, it seems like he didn't plan for his trip. It seemed like he didn't plan well for his trip, and the reason why I say that is he left a lot of obligations in the United States. In particular, he talked about his 14-year-old daughter, whose mother has just died and passed. So, see, what people don't understand, Coco, I remember you asking me a question before. You say, why would I want to go to a francophone African country? And the reason why I said that is what people don't understand is the Ghana's price of the real estate in Ghana has been perverted. It's been perverted. And what do I mean by that? Between the yen return, the year of return, and just Americans and Black British and West Indians all seem to want to have a rush. It's almost like a gold rush in going to Ghana. What does that do? The price, and they seem to be purchasing land in Ghana. What does that do? Well, the Ghanaians are not stupid. The Ghanaians see so many people with that American dollar, that British pound coming there, so they're gonna inflate the price of land in Ghana. And they're gonna inflate. It's overinflated. It's overinflated. Why? Ghana is an English-speaking country. It's moderately progressive, and everyone wants to go there. So now I'm watching Watermeyer, and I'm seeing the cost of some housing is into $300,000 for a house in Ghana. I would never pay no. That's Western prices. It's Western prices. It's been overinflated. So now he has to exist in this space, pay fees in this space, and also have obligations where he comes from. My advice to him would be to rent out that property and move. And move. You know, many people, because the francophone country, they don't speak English. A whole lot. The American dollar is not the American dollar and the British pound is not running there because of the difficulty of the translation. The French is most people who have that American dollar don't speak French, so they don't want to go there. So the price of line is still at least where it should be. The GDP of the average Ghanaian citizen is $3,000, 3,000 US, 3,000 US. That means that a home should cost about $6,000. An average home, $60,000. That's 20 years, $60,000, 20, 25 years, right? When I'm seeing homes for $300,000, obviously the price of land is overinflated. The Ghanaians ain't silly. They saying, man, listen, I could get more money for this from this American that I could for a Ghanaian citizen. You know what I mean? So now his difficulty is paying those prices or whatever he's paying. He's built a house already. I don't know what he paid for the land, and also with the obligations of where he's coming from. It's too overinflated. You know, and this is going to be a problem for a lot of English-speaking African countries, because I understand many of us want to return, but we're returning with economic power that they don't necessarily understand and see. But I'm saying that the people who own land there, of course, they're going to pervert it and overinflate it. So now you have this dynamic of back and forth. I would suggest to this man to move, get out of there. You don't need to be in Ghana. Go to another African country where you could pay pennies on the dollar for a lot of land, have your nice home, and still be able to send funds back if need to. Now he's struggling trying to juggle, but he doesn't understand that I believe that the price of real estate in Ghana has been overinflated. I believe that. And it's going to be the same way for many English-speaking African countries for the temporary time going forward. You know what I mean? So this is the reason why I wouldn't go there. I would not go there. wouldn't go there. But I think that this is his problem and poor planning as well. But I'll stop there.
Yeah, but I thought you didn't see when I asked you that question, but I like your explanation. It makes some sense. Let me go to Oni, who's actually been to Ghana. What say you?
Nah, so I heard a different story from what heard. But what I'm gonna say is, no, it sounds like he has the money, but his daughter is an expense, and his brother is an expense, and his and obviously his storage. Yeah, exactly. His storage in America, his daughter, and his brother. Now, here's this. First off, like, all right, well, shit. I guess Koku gonna be on my ass for this, but this dude needs to step up. He needs to step up. First off, all right. So I don't know if y'all remember the BET special for Black Panther. So I ain't watched BET, but I watched the Black Panther on BET. Okay. One of the scenes that stuck out with me was, I guess it was T'Challa, I don't know, but the Black Panther saves this kid from some nuclear plant or something, and when he brings the kid to his parents, the parents say, "Oh, he just insisted he had to go," and T'Challa said, "Oh, so we listen to kids now?" And that was it. And it was like, yes, this dude's the father. Now it sucks that the girl's mother died, but this dude's the father. You send her ass on a plane and you live with her. What's this? Oh, I don't know if I should get her. What are you talking about? Like what are you talking about? She's an expense. She's living somewhere expensive. That's the thing that's happening with me right now, man. Kind of low key, but like, you could get rent in Tanzania for I think I can't remember like I think it was like $300 maybe like $200 no $300 a month. Okay, the lowest you could get in New York City, right? The lowest you could get in Brooklyn is $1,000. Like, that's the lowest, and that would be if you just had somebody's bedroom. When you get a $300 when you rent for $300 in Tanzania, you have a 3-bedroom house. Okay, a 3-bedroom house for $300 a month. But like I said, the cheapest in Brooklyn is $1,000 for a bedroom and a shared bathroom. Yes, the expenses in America are so high. If you have a 14-year-old girl and she stands to benefit from being in Tanzania, then you, as the father, just tell her, get your ass over here. And here's the thing, like the dude, like he has in the comments. So I think the pinned tweet and the pinned comment in his right if you scroll down, matter of fact, is from his daughter saying, "Sorry, Dad, I just I don't want to." I think that's it right there, right? Yeah. Hi, Daddy. This is your 14-year-old daughter. I 100% understand. Like, and she was like, "I just have friends over here, and I just have to." Like, my guy, you're the fucking father. Just get her ass over. Like, come on. What are you doing? I don't know if Coco wants me to read that or not, but I'm just saying, like, what are you doing? I actually had to comment under that, like, girl, get your black ass over to Ghana. Huh?
Yeah, do me a favor and read that for me, please.
As a 14-year-old girl? Hey, just hi, Daddy. Like a 14-year-old girl. Well, I can't fulfill that request.
Read it as a 14-year-old girl.
I can't fulfill that request now. I'm gonna sound like a bitch, not that the 14-year-old girls, just for a dude asking you to read like a 14-year-old girl, you can't do it. All right, let me just read it like regular or something. But look, I kind of want to read like a little girl. No, let's pause. All right, hi, Daddy. This is your 14. Daddy, ew. Hi, this is your 14-year-old daughter.
Hi, Daddy.
Pause. All right, press the read more button. But this is your 14-year-old daughter. I 100% understand, and I feel you for a lot because you have to take care of me. And on top of that, the 24-year-old who doesn't listen, I don't want to move to Ghana because that's such a big change for me. I only have one other person besides my father that's keeping me going after the loss of my mother, and she lives here. Okay. Being separated from her would be like losing a part of myself. I would absolutely lose it. I know since I'm and then there's more to it. But like, yeah, like, dude, she's 14. She's a little girl. You're the fucking parent. Just tell her to go. I know since I'm so young, it sounds crazy. Adults wouldn't really understand. Dang, I did it. I'm also willing to move to Ghana. Because I know me living here is a part of the reason my father can't enjoy himself in his dream home. And that really gets to me. So if I have to go, I'll go. But I wouldn't be the same. I'm praying that whatever happens, things works out for everyone involved in this. And then he actually responds. He's like, "Oh, I love you, girl." And like, oh gosh, like this. And see, when we talk about women not having good choices, no disrespect to this dude. I mean, I like the fact that he has a channel and all that shit. But like, this is not a good choice in a man, because a man should be like, "Kid, you're coming." You know what I'm saying? Like, this is a shit. He wilding. He's wilding. Sorry. Do you agree?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree. This is a case where you can't blame this guy, right? You can't. I grew up in a church, like I told you all before, and one of the things that still sticks with me from that time is the idea that you can't serve two masters. You cannot be in Ghana and trying to keep up with America at the same time. Your job as the man there. Get your child over there. Like, are we listening to children? Get your child over there.
Better living.
But go ahead.
Yeah. No, but like, that's what I'm saying. That line that you said earlier, that's what I was going to say for the last prompt, which was, Du Bois says it's in the Bible. You can't serve. Well, the Bible says you can't serve God and mammon, right? And mammon is the love of money, the demon of money or something, the devil of money. I don't know. But basically, if a woman loves money, she's not going to love you. Right. And I mean, that was just what I was going to say for the last part, but my fault. But what I'm saying with this, if you press 88 replies, you'll see that I think the first reply there is, "I love you, sweetie. And don't worry, blah, blah, blah. I'll try to find a way." Yeah, right here. Hey, my little princess. I'll read like a grown ass BAN. Anyway, but hey, my little princess, I'm so glad that you understand what's going on. Sometimes in life, change is what we need. The greatest discovery of all time is a person can change their future by merely changing their attitude and by surrounding themselves around new people that are doing new things. You're a very smart young lady, especially to even understand what could be good for both of us. I'm so happy that you're willing to shut the fuck up.
Ooh, come on, fella.
I like, come on, like, get a fucking dick. You know what I'm saying? like, dude. Yeah. So what I'm saying is this, right? Yeah, like I like, you gotta put your foot down. One, with your daughter, obviously. Okay, the storage thing. If you got a fucking place, send your shit over to Africa. That's the fucking plan. That's 2. 3, if your brother's calling you and it costs $1 a fucking minute, tell him to call you less, and you'll talk to him when he gets out, and stop doing dumb shit to get in. That's it. And I'm not saying that because I'm like whatever. That's what I would say. Okay. That's what I would say. Ain't no damn way I'm gonna be putting money over. Like, you kidding me? The girl, I have friends, and I just can't leave my friend. Are you fucking kidding me? You're 14 years old. You could leave any motherfucking person. Wait, let me say this. Dude now has to leave Ghana and his fucking home that he's building just because he can't be a man and tell his daughter and his brother, "Shut the fuck up. I'm the fucking man." That's all right.
No, I agree. Part of manhood is to make a decision and live with your decision. Make a decision and live with your decision. This guy is all over the place. He's all over the place. Make some affirmative decisions in your life and live with that, whatever the decisions that you decide on. That's a part of manhood. He seemed to be waffling all over the place. Now he's asking for the general public now for help. Do you have any ideas? Get the hell out of here, man. You know what I mean? Be a dad, be a man, and make a goddamn decision. Period.
And don't blame it on repatriation too. That's the other thing I don't like too. Don't make it seem like Ghana is so expensive. No, guy, you trying to live in 2 different places at the same time. Pull your daughter. Look, little lady, you'll make new friends. You got me here. Pull your daughter over and live in Ghana, like truly live in Ghana. I know Jacadero wanted to add some thoughts, but go ahead. So go ahead, brother.
So the first brother had stated, moving. There's like a supply and demand because of. I feel that the welcome back from President Nana, the year of return for the diaspora, and that's going to be the same thing going on across African countries. Kenya's president had said the diaspora will have visa-free entry into Kenya. And so same thing is about to happen there. Again, I didn't watch the whole thing, but just from listening, it's really interesting that I don't know how old his daughter is, but if his daughter's young enough to still have like his... Okay, yeah, so she's 14. I'm not 100% sure on why like he's struggling with having her follow his command unless he's not running the house. I know that like when I say home, I don't whether that's home in Ghana or the US, but yeah, he needs to run it. If he's not running it, then that's even just a bigger thing. Then I don't know why he would be asking the public to help him on parenting. It just sounds more like a parenting issue, if that is the case, if that's the whole video. Yeah,
I want to respond to what Jacadero said. And I agree with him because there is going to be a gold rush. It's almost going to be like back in the day when they had the gold rush in California. There is going to be a rush to African countries, but in particular, one English-speaking African countries, because most people who have that economic power and capacity, they are English-speaking nations, like the Black British, like the Americans, Black Americans, like some of the West Indians. But I would also say too that will distort the price of real estate in these areas. Me personally, I say get ahead of it because the people with that economic capacity are more likely. They are more likely. I'm outside, guys. Sorry. They are more likely to.
You running a dog or something?
Yeah, I have to run a dog. I have some dogs. They chase the cat. They chase the cat. Yeah. But they are more likely to go to English-speaking countries first. And I say get ahead of the train while the line is cheaper in the countries that they are least likely to go to, which is the French-speaking countries. And line is still it's still competitive, not even competitive. It's still not as much as the inflated real estate in these English-speaking countries. I say get ahead of it before it starts. It's going to eventually spill out to the Francophone countries, but for right now, it's going to be directed more so to the English-speaking, more developed countries. Kenya, Ghana for now, and maybe Uganda more or less because of what the Museveni had to say. But I believe that you should get ahead of it in terms of what real estate is right now in the Francophone countries, because English-speaking people with that economic dollar is not going to venture out there as yet. Not as yet. They're going to sprinkle in it now, but they're not going to pour in as they are in the developed African-speaking countries. I don't believe.
Yeah, Trigger Happy is from Ghana, and I wanted his thoughts, but he wasn't here for the prompt out there in the chat. I guess he probably could piece together what was being discussed. Black American and African in America relocated to Ghana, and he's talking about his woes in terms of affordability. But in his story, he's letting you know that he's still paying American costs for American things, as opposed to, like, for example, his daughter and whatnot, as opposed to like bringing his daughter to where he is in Ghana, and kind of like just dealing in Ghana. You know what I mean? So that's the gist of that story. There's been a couple of things said. Afro Native World says, I don't think that's accurate, Bwana. It's his family spending U.S. prices that's making it hard for him. That was in response to earlier when Bwana was talking about he should have gone to a francophone country. He also says he changed his spending to be able to live in Ghana, but his family still spends in U.S. prices. It's not sustainable. I agree with that. Afro Native World goes on to say we have to look at how it would be if you earn only a Tanzanian salary for a real comparison, right? Real Black Gentleman is out there saying what's up, right? Yeah, so Trigger Happy 262 says, yeah, just bring his daughter to Ghana, LOL. That seems easy to me. Is there any last thoughts you guys want to add to this prompt? If not,
just another be careful. Be careful.
Be careful. Be sensible too, man. I mean, this one, of course, the blame is on him. He's the dude who should. He's the dude who should. He's the man here. He is the adult in the room. Do the thing that makes the most sense. It's that's you can't blame his daughter for it. It's his fault. Brother Bakari out there says peace and Black Power. Peace to Brother Bakari as well. Shooter Breeze topic number 3. Shooter Breeze topic number 3 says, so black men like me must be the custodian to this. What is this? Let's see. This takes us to Twitter. And it takes us to this New York Post tweet that says, my jailed fiance mailed me his sperm in a sandwich bag to get me pregnant. Let me see what the link takes us to. I know you guys can't see the link yet. Give me a second. Let me see if it comes up so I can share the screen. It's taking forever. All right, so here's the New York Post article. It says, my jail fiance mailed me his sperm in a sandwich bag to get me pregnant. I think there's a video, but it's taking forever to come up. So I'll just go to the article itself. It says a Virginia woman says she tried to conceive a baby with her incarcerated fiance after he sent her his sperm in a plastic sandwich baggie from behind bars. TikToker named Nesha reveals she fiance Twino is locked up for unidentified offenses and is set to be released within a year. But the experimental couple decided to try and conceive, quote unquote, for fun. Calling it a quote unquote crazy experience, Nesha showed a play-by-play of detecting ovulation after she received Twino's specimen via the Postal Service. She subsequently received a positive pregnancy test, which was later revealed to be a false positive. A week after the store-bought test, she supposedly went to a physician who performed further labs to confirm the pregnancy. But all the results apparently returned negative. So this is the young lady in question. I don't think that's a video. The young lady in question. I guess that's the young man, Twino. That's Twino.
We can't see anything.
It says it was a little disheartening to hear.
I said we can't see anything.
Give it a try.
Cool. Nothing is showing on the site.
Sandwich baggie.
Nah, it sounds like he went to the Matrix. Okay, he dropped off.
He was in the Matrix just now. He's cool.
Yeah, he
Matrix.
just
Go
trying to
ahead, only rock on the subject, man, because you could go on the subject. Rock on it.
Well, I don't know, man. So I'm saying, I mean, this is more Koku's subject. I don't know what, I don't know why he thought we had to be custodians of this woman. I have nothing to say. I mean, like, the thing about this is that everybody has agency. You know, what I was saying earlier was that we as men, or we as good men, have to advise good men. We don't got to advise bad men. You know, the thing about us, we got to realize, and I kind of wish Koku could hear this, but the thing about us as men is that we know better than to associate with bad men. You know what I'm saying? Like for real, like there's dudes on the corner, right? Or there's dudes standing in front of the corner store right now, right? But you ain't gonna hang out with them unless you're cool with them or something. But you ain't really hanging out with them. The reality is this though. They still gonna get pom from some woman. You know, maybe not a good woman, right? But that's why when I say things like, "Oh, you dudes got to practice discretion," what I'm saying is, hey, we already practice discretion with dudes. We just got to practice more discretion with women, and that's where it is. I told y'all when I was in Africa, right? It got to a point where, you got to start turning down women. You know, you got to start turning down women because you the more you learn about them, the more you peep game, the more you see what their agenda is, right? And when you start turning down women, that's when you could see a person's agenda, that's what you're supposed to go by. But if you see their agenda, now sometimes you don't see their agenda, that's fine. When you see their agenda and you say, I'm gonna rock with it anyway, right? That's when I say it's on you. You know, it's like what George Bush says, right? Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Fool me again, well, you can't fool me 3 times, right? But a lot of us be getting fooled, right? That's well, you know, a lot of us get fooled 3 times, you know. So it's like with this couple right here, it's just Tweedledee and Tweedledum. They belong together. You know what I mean? It got nothing to do with us as good black men.
Absolutely. I think Herzuli, he like to generalize a lot. Because
Oh, you cut out too, man. Yo, what happened now? Right? Everybody becoming Neo coming after you also. Everybody Agent Smith laughing.
Wait, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, you could hear me. Good. So I took my earphones out. So
you sound so different. I was like, who the fuck is this?
yeah. So Herzuli like to generalize. Because I think this is wrong. I really think this is wrong. So Herzuli likes to generalize. He likes to cherry pick stories and then generalize it for all black women. And I don't think that's fair. I really don't think that's fair. Most women who I know, and only you would admit, most women who you know would not try to get a child out of a sandwich bag. Most women. Yeah, I mean, so I mean, this is an extreme example, and I don't think that it's fair to say that this who our black women are. I don't think that's fair. You have good women from Mississippi, Alabama, Atlanta, all over New York City. You know, my home girls in the chat who from NY, and then you have girls on the continent and the Caribbean. That's not fair to cast aspersions on these sisters because of this particular dizzy chick decide to have a child out of a sandwich bag. That's not fair. And I think that Herzuli know better, and he should behave himself. He needs to behave himself. It's nice, big, beautiful.
Hold on.
Good.
We can't hear you, man. But I think
yeah,
what he's saying,
I don't know what's going on with
I
you.
think what he might be saying,
in the Matrix.
Well, I think what he might be saying is that it's his prompt. I'm pretty sure I saw Koku tweet this. You know,
and Koku should know better too. If this Koku prompt, he should know better. You have beautiful chicks all over, and this lady is not the
You
criteria
know, we're
all the
Zuli too
time.
much.
Yeah, because when I hear these kinds of things, that I tend to lean that it's probably him. But there are too many black women out here who don't have to limit themselves to the standard. This chick is deciding to date a convict, a jailbird, and then she trying to have a child with him through a sandwich bag. Most black women ain't on that level, man. I think, I would assume. I would assume.
Yeah.
So I think it's unfair to do that to them, man. I'm not gonna do that to them. And people say, Bwana, you simping.
Nah, we can't. I mean, we heard you say, "Can you hear?" But it's very, very.
Yeah, we
low.
heard you just now. Yeah. People will say, "Bwana, you simping."
Right.
I don't agree with this from. I don't agree with this.
Well, I'll say, I think y'all are simping a little bit. Here's why. This is not about the black woman per se. I'm not attacking this woman in the story. I think it's a stupid ass story. What I'm saying is, why am I as a black? Why is this my fault? And this builds off of the Umar thing of it's our fault of what these women have to choose from the male population. Why is this my fault? Why is this black men's fault? That's what I'm trying to figure out.
But who said it was your fault? Like, wait, follow. Like, what are you talking about?
Dr. Umar Johnson. Yeah.
But I mean, like, why would this be? Like, what does that mean? Like what? Like, I mean, this just sounds like
She's doing this of her own volition. Then you don't have to go and get sperm from a jailbird, right? You don't have to get no Ziploc, which is just fucking ridiculous, right? You don't have to get that stuff. There's free men out here, right? She's a relatively attractive woman, it seems. There's free men out here to choose from. Why are you doing this shit? And then
look,
I'm gonna say it this way. Umar, then he'll want to say, "Well, it's because black." How is this my fault?
Well,
That's
I'll
the
say
question.
this. Yeah, I'll say this. This looks like more like an outlier. So what happens is this. Real talk, there's a lot of crazy people in the world, or a lot of people do dumb shit. Like what's that shit called when you jump in from parkour? Like people do parkour on roofs and shit. A lot of people do dumb shit. From the story, since you read it, it looks like these two might have just been in a relationship, and then they just wanted to see, like, they were just having a goof, like prank, kind of like a dumb story, So like people do that. I don't think anybody's using this outlier example, against black men, because like that wouldn't make any sense. And it just like I think this was just something that the two of these individuals thought of that might probably be funny. A lot of people do things that they think is funny that's not really funny, or that like they don't really think through things. And but I don't think anybody's looking at these outlier, weird events and like, yo, this is people. Because the thing is this, what I'll say is this: white people do dumb shit all the time, but like white people are not doing gender war off of it. You know what I'm saying? Or if they are, they're like rare. They're not front and center. You know what I'm saying? So like this is kind of just something stupid. This is something that two stupid people did, and I don't think anybody's looking at this like, well, damn, if only she had better options. As far as I could tell, this is her man. You know what I mean? And this is her match. You get what I'm saying? And no, she didn't really get pregnant. What if she really did get pregnant? I think she did want to get pregnant. She just didn't.
Doctor,
Go ahead, Buana. Go ahead.
No, what I would say, Koku, is Dr. Umar was obviously wrong, brother. He was wrong. He wouldn't admit that, but he was wrong. You are not responsible for the decisions, for the individual decisions of adult female people. You are not responsible. And he would say, well, we all responsible for the actions of women and what happened. And see, there's an interview on the internet right now where he backtracked. As a matter of fact, I think that he wasn't being so ingenuous or genuous or whatever the word is when he backtrack his comment and say that when he made that statement, he was specifically speaking towards black boys. because so I believe that he walked back his comments because of the backlash from that initial comments of us being responsible for the actions of adult people, adult female black women. You know what I mean? So there is that out there. I don't know if you watched the video yet. He said he didn't say that at all. And I'm thinking to myself, well, I know what I heard. So he was saying that he was speaking specifically for the protection of black boys. This was his statements after he had made these comments. But his initial comments was just wrong. On the face of it, it was just blatantly wrong. You should not be responsible for the decisions of adult people who have agency within and of themselves. You should not be responsible. So I don't agree with him, and he just was wrong on those points.
Yeah, that's kind of I put this up there last week, I think, after the Umar conversation, somewhat tongue in cheekly, but again, this idea, like I said earlier tonight, that black men are always to blame for some shit. That's a dangerous kind of idea. And what Umar put out there the other week when we talked about it, that's a dangerous, to me anyway, that's a dangerous idea. But we haven't heard from Jacadero. Jacadero, what's it?
This is just me. I didn't even know that people could get pregnant by sending stuff in the mail. That's wild to me. This entire time I've been like, that can happen? Like, there's kids that are born from somebody that's incarcerated. That's a thing?
I don't think that's much of a thing, but there is turkey basting, which is a real thing. Women do turkey based, sperm and all that kind of stuff. So I guess that's what she was attempting to do. But my question is, why would you do that?
Yeah.
Like Brother B said, if you got pregnant, then what?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah. This story is all sorts of loony. Somebody said earlier that they belong together. Yeah, absolutely. They he's whether alleged criminal or he's in jail, so he's a criminal, I guess. And then she's just crazy enough to go along with it. What does the custodian have to do with it? Is this more the custodian part? Does that come from Umar's podcast interview? And to be honest, I didn't watch the interview, but did he say something about we need to be custodians? Is that what he said?
Basically, Umar was on this panel, and thank you, Barna, for letting me know that he walked that back. I was not aware. Maybe he did that during the Marcel conversation. I'm not sure. But he basically sat with these black men. The black men said, listen, a lot of women are choosing, and I know people don't like it, but I ain't got nothing else to use, except maybe a little, I ain't gonna say that. But, women are choosing Pookie and Ray Rays. And Umar was like, well, that's black man's fault, right? I put this here, how is this black man's fault? She's choosing a dude who's in prison trying to get pregnant. How is this black man's fault?
Yeah, I don't have much to add. I think this, I heard something today that, but there was women that were asking like, why all of a sudden are men becoming passport brothers? This might be it. A lot of men are just getting fed up of being in America, and they're just like, I'm just not even going to deal with it. So this could add to that.
Quite possibly. I don't know. For some reason, my computer, I don't know if it's streaming. I don't know what's going on, but it's kind of choppy for me. But if you guys can still hear me clearly out in the chat, just drop a 1 for me. I want to shout out Brother Bakari in the chat. Real Black Gentleman has joined us, talking a lot about the viability of sperm outside of the body. Carl Hezekiah joined us as well. He said women are not children. And I agree. So this idea that any bad action from women, you got to blame, from black women in particular, because I don't really care about the other women, right? But you got to blame black men I'm saying, as I've always said, these women have agency. They have minds of their own. It's like I said in the previous prompt. You ain't marrying your daddy. So don't bring your hate for your daddy to me. Shake that shit off, right? And act like a damn adult. You know, I shouldn't be blamed for a woman who I fell in love with you. Clearly, I must have loved some, you know, many aspects about you, but you have this hang up about your dad. You shouldn't imprint that upon me. That's the point I'm trying to get at. Let's welcome in Real Black Gentleman this week. Real Black Gentleman, how are you?
Oh, I'm straight.
Good. What say you to all of this?
Again, I mean, this is like, see, this is where she got this. I don't know. Look, she accepted that idea. That's what I know. Look, a man can sit here and say, look, I'm going to do this, but like, he's not going to do that unless she has something to do with it. You know what I'm saying? That's again. And the thing is like, who told her that this would even work? We're talking about like, we're talking about biology of peoples and stuff like over millions of years. You know, this ain't gonna work. This is not gonna work. So why are you trying to, man? Like I said, this is like I said, this is some incubus succubus type stuff, man. Like this is not like of Africa. You know what I'm saying? This has nothing to do with anything black people have ever done. Off the top. That's why it's odd. It's like the whole like, I mean, it's. Look, I mean, it's like it's hot in jail. Probably it's like spoilage. You know what I'm saying? This is not scientific. This is so bad. I mean, you know what I'm saying? The psychology of going to such lengths to try to like create a bond is, you know what I'm saying? That's like, you know what I'm saying? That is, I have nothing to do with that. I know where those ideas come from. I know a lot of the problems with black folks in America come from just unconsciously. You know what I'm saying? Unwittingly, you know what I'm saying? Uncritically, like having ideas cross our minds of everyday stuff and not really like breaking it down, breaking down all these concepts in our head. We try to like go on autopilot through life and kind of like use like figures of speech and like little like folk wisdoms to try to like skate by life to try to, you know, keep it moving. But we don't really break down like why are we doing some things, like a lot of shortcuts that we think in life that we try to do. You know what I'm saying? We don't think about like the ramifications. We don't figure out like that bargain, that devil's bargain that we do when we do things like this. Like you really wanted to like make it's so bad. It's like, look, the fact that it's public knowledge, like I'm telling everyone that this is what I tried to do. Why? Are you trying to tell other people? So someone told you to do this and you're telling, see, I don't want to ramble on about that. Like, look, you got to save your seed, black man. You got to save your seed. You cannot be out here just throwing it to women who do not have your best intentions at heart. And I mean, that's just straight like that. I'm going to pass the mic.
Erzuli is out in the chat. You should have been here earlier, Erzuli. He says she was messing with another man and was going to pass it as his. I know he didn't think that was going to happen. Okay, I guess that's a presumption. I don't know if Erzuli has more information on the story than I do. But I just want, it was a bit of a tongue-in-cheek post to like,
my fault. I was talking.
Oh, my bad. Only go ahead.
No. I was on mute. My fault. But no. What I'm gonna say is this: that, you know, she's the bad woman, obviously, but it's not like this. Like, she's bad because this guy's a felon. I've heard of stories where women would, like get your condom out the garbage, and like there was a story of I think it's a fake story, but like some woman, you know, found a dude's condom in the garbage or whatever. And then used that to impregnate herself because he was a multi-millionaire, and she got some, you know, child support payments or some shit like that. Now, I don't know if that's true or whatever, but like the only reason why this woman's story is trash is because the dude's trash. Let's not forget that. But as far as like the Umar thing, we have to. I didn't watch the Umar the whole interview. From the clip I gathered though, I think he was saying something. I think he was saying something like, try to, try to be more active in boys' lives to the point where, Pookie and Ray Ray don't exist. I think the assumption is that, like, we have this unspoken assumption that Pookie and Ray Ray are going to exist. And the thing is this, though, real talk, they are. Real talk, Pookie and Ray Ray are created, are Frankenstein's monster, and the West is Frankenstein. So, but I think Umar's perspective is that we can curtail the Pookie and Ray Ray. You know what I'm saying? And so from that perspective, like because I think a lot of Black nationalists do have that delusion that they can like just kind of like transform America from the inside type thing, right? And because of that, like Umar taking that position, right? What do you mean? How is he back? What do you mean? How is he back? Because he's in jail? What are you talking about? He's in. All right. Anyway, whatever. Like what? I thought that's the whole reason why the dudes. All right. So anyway, but the thing about that is, she just like got me out. But what I'm saying is that, I think because like if you are of the opinion that we can change the society and change the culture and do better while we're in America, then I think that's what Umar was saying. I don't think he communicated it well, right? But I think that's what Umar was saying, right? And so because of that, like I could see why it sounds like he's blaming Black men, but it's more like, hey, Black men, try to transform your community from the inside. I stopped telling Black folk to do that, right? And I tell Black folk, go to Africa, get you a good woman.
I agree with what you said. I agree with what you said. I do think he was kind of saying that what you allege. The problem is he doubled down when the Pookie and Ray Ray question was posed to him directly. He said it's Black men's fault that there is a Pookie and Ray Ray and that women are choosing them. How is that possible? We're not all Pookie and Ray Rays. There's other viable choices. You understand? These women have agency. They chose a Pookie and this woman in this story chose to receive sperm in a fucking Ziploc bag, right? And actually tried to get pregnant with the shit. Like, how is that, right? How is that anyone else's blame but this woman? Even if the guy sent the shit, throw that shit away. And that's the problem. I tell you, we give these women a pass, and I think Juana said it at the time. A lot of us in the conscious community have this Black woman is God mentality, and so we don't challenge them. We don't put anything at their feet, and they do shit like this, and we just turn a blind eye to it. Oh, it's the guy who's in jail's fault. No, she received the package and tried to get pregnant. That's on her. Urzuli is here. Urzuli, how are you this week?
Yeah, I'm good. I mean, I'm not gonna go in on her like that for this story, but because I don't know if they're just stupid. Because as you know, you need ice. I don't know if there was ice in the thing, and they check your packages all the time when you're sending them from. They're not just gonna let you send. That's why I don't want to see. I think it's just stupidity because when you send stuff to somebody in jail or they send something to you, it's always checked. So what made her think that they wasn't gonna check that, bro? And if like we know science, if it's not on ice, by the time after certain hours, those things are dead. But me, I just don't think that I'm not gonna go hard like that. But I just think it's just stupid. I don't know how old this woman is, and I'm not gonna blame the dude for making that decision. Or the girl. That's just, to me, that's just stupid. Maybe they was just young and stuff like that. And that's just a couple of years back, a Jewish guy was going around bringing his sperm to black women in public fast food so they could get pregnant. So what's the difference? The only difference is that she's not smart enough to realize that sperm dies after a certain time. So I don't know. This is just a retarded story to me, just stupidity or whatever. But I want to say that Umar Johnson thing. Umar Johnson is a freaking piece. Like he's a grifter. Umar Johnson sat there on the Breakfast Club that black men are in the situation is because of the welfare system, because that they ship all the jobs, the factory jobs away from the community, especially like around Detroit. And then now he's blaming black men for the pookies for these kids. If you're not, like I said, if you're not two men cannot lead a house. What he should have said is that black men need to create their own separate country. Because at the end of the day, those kids that were created, how he's gonna say it's all black men's fault? Meanwhile, that man, he was in a whole battle with his own baby mothers to see his own kid. This man talking about all this shit, he was dating a stripper, using the money that they gave him to this stripper, making like a lot of these black men. I'm telling you, I think they use them to destroy the image of a conscious black man. Like now, if you go to another black woman, you be like, "Oh, you conscious?" You be like, "Oh, you like Umar? You like Polite? You like Young Pharaoh? Or you like these people?" So what these men don't understand that they're doing is that they are destroying a black male's image who's conscious. Because I'm not taking that from Umar Johnson. Umar, really? You had your own issues with your. And then the thing is, I didn't watch the whole thing. These boys, granted, they should have attacked him further. Put his foot to the fire. I don't know if they said what about him and his woman. He wasn't paying child support. Like, what is wrong with this guy? And I'm not saying that you can't criticize. Yeah, I do understand that. How gone are the days that we are a village. Because you know why? When you walk around, if you see a kid acting bad and you tell them stop doing that, you know what he's gonna tell you? You're not my family. You're not my mom. And if you trying to yell at the kid and the mom come, the mom is gonna tell you, don't talk to my son like that. You're not my son's father. So how are you supposed to curtail the Pookie and Ray Ray when the society is not a village anymore? I be on the bus, kids acting wild. You tell them to shut, they will fight you and beat you, and then their parents will come and fight you and beat you. So how is a black man supposed to curtail the Pookie and Ray Ray? How dare Umar just say, "Oh, why they're Pookie and they are Pookie and Ray Ray in every society? They have him in the white community, they have him in the Hispanic community, they have him in the." But it's the choices the women are making. So how could you sit there and say like, "Oh, blame, oh, it's the black." Yo, Umar needs to stop. And when I say this guy, somebody said, "Oh, this guy's a scumbag." You don't know what he did. He's a bad guy because he's in jail. Your leaders, your politicians are bad guys, but you don't call these Negroes out. I'm not saying that what this young lady did and this boy did is okay. I'm just saying maybe it was just a stupid thing. Maybe they were just trying to see if it worked. At the end of the day, education failed them. How you gonna? I don't even know how long sperm lives. It's not on ice. So at the end of the day, I mean, I don't think I'm gonna go hard on these people like that for this. It was dumb for them to say it in public. Maybe that's a little story they tell each other how dumb they were to think that was gonna happen. But and the worst thing is, why is the New York Post posting that? If this is not image murder, if it's not to destroy the image of a black man, of a black woman, this is murder of your image. I think we should be more angry at this. Why is this story running? How is that a big story?
Why is that have run if these people didn't do this?
Say that again.
The story the Post wouldn't be able to put this story out if these folks didn't do this. We gotta take the accountability on this stuff too.
No, I understand what you're saying, Kuku, but they don't have other retarded stories that the other communities do, but they don't post them. I'm saying
the white man is supposed to destroy your image. He's your enemy. He's supposed to destroy your image, right?
Yes.
So you're not supposed to give him. You're not supposed to give him
ammunition.
The fodder to destroy the ammo to destroy your image. Why would you do this shit?
Yeah, you're right. I'm not gonna fight back on you, but I'm just pointing to the fact that this is not done. But like, oh, this is a story. I agree with you 100%. But like we said, are these young people being guided by upright citizens? Oh, why would you do that? Why didn't this lady go ask her father or her uncle? Could that actually happen or whatever? And I'm gonna go somewhere different. Maybe you're not gonna agree with me on this one, but in a way, they locked up this dude to keep him from reproducing. I don't know how long he has, and for her to think about to make him reproduce, if she's not trying to pass another man's kid on him, there's a little bit of rebellion in this act too, even though it was dumb. Because I don't know if you remember this, Goku. There was a brother that killed 2 police officers in New York City. That guy still managed to impregnate 2 female guards and had 2 kids. You remember? I don't know. You remember that way back, maybe 10 years ago?
I don't remember that right now. But wow. Okay.
Yeah, but that guy, which we could label a bad guy because he murdered 2 police officers, he still managed to reproduce with women. So a lot of the time, all of these brothers go to jail is to curtail their reproductive thing. There's a lot of stuff going around this, but I get what you're saying, Goku. But I'm just saying that, like, why is this something that to be ran in the newspaper? This is what the society's going to is becoming. But that's all I have to say, man. Sorry.
For time's sake, does anyone else want to add a brief last word to this prompt? If not, what we'll do...
brief word. I love the fact that Erzuli, the Haitian sensation, he is saying 2 things that stand out to me. Because he talking real different than I used to be talking. Talking about why Umar Johnson didn't talk about having his own country. That's first and foremost. Then he say that he questioning the New York Times and the propaganda they put out there. I'm saying I'm about to turn Erzuli into Desali in 2023. You watch. I'm gonna turn him into that shit.
I'm gonna say this though. How is Koku more extreme than Erzuli? Because Erzuli was like, "Oh, this just is like two stupid kids." You know what I'm saying? Like that's what everybody's thinking. Everybody's like, "This is 2 stupid kids," and Koku was like, "Damn, man, y'all saying this on me?" And it's like, "What? Nobody thinks it's on you, man." But I'm just surprised that Koku out Erzuli and Erzuli. That's it. Hey, Coco, if you talking, we can't hear you.
You know, you guys can hear me?
Now we can. Can
you guys hear me?
Yeah, now we can.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know what's going on. So, for time's sake, I'll just remind you guys that this show is part of a podcast network. I won't play the spot right now. I played it earlier at the start of the show. Go to the website, check it out. Check out all the shows on KWAZ Radio. Let me thank Brother Bakari also for the super sticker he posted earlier. I appreciate that. While we have Erzuli here, let me just go right into Shoot the Breeze topic number 4, because this has to do with him. Shoot the Breeze topic number 4. Shoot the Breeze topic number 4 says, so they say Ogun and Erinle was lovers. So homosexuality is of Africa. Why are Africans against this if their gods were doing it? Came with a prompt. With a link. That's going to take us to a video. Let's watch it, and then we'll discuss.
Hello, you all. I'm Black Witch Yaya. Thank you so much for tuning into this video, and welcome to our very first Orisha story of the year. Like I say in all of my Orisha stories, this may not be the story that your grandmama told you, that your baba told you, that your baba, your priest, your elder, your whoever, because there's so many translations of stories of the Orisha. This particular Orisha, 50 million translations and different traditions, because this Orisha is so unique, and you guys will find out. So I just try to compromise a few of the stories just so you could get a grasp of this unique Orisha of Erinle, or Erinle for short. So let's start with the name itself. Erinle translates to elephant, specifically land elephant, and Erinle is known as the great elephant of the earth. Erinle is a water spirit and is known to be located where sweet and salt water meet. Erinle is known to be the Orisha over health, wellness, abundance, fertility, prosperity, and is known to be the physician to the other gods as well. So many other gods and spirits will go to him like, hey, I'm not feeling too well. What about this? What about that? And he would give them advice, guidance, and actually heal them. Erinle is known to be the Orisha, the spirit that is good for having it both ways. Let me explain. So Erinle is really known for his balance. He's good for balancing earth and water, salt water, sweet water, healing, and hunting, and the dims, days, and the grass, because he is known to be the Orisha that is the patron over the LGBTQ plus community. That's why I knew everyone was waiting on this Orisha, because he is just so well known to be one of the most prayed to Orisha from members of the LGBTQ plus community, because he is not only known to have the perfect balance of masculine and feminine energy, but he is known to have an androgynous appearance as well, along with being able to switch from man to woman depending on the needs of the individual that calls upon him. As a male, Erinle is a powerful god spirit over healing, hunting, and the earth. And as a female, she is over giving life in the waters. Most of the time, Erinle is referred to as a male, but throughout this video, you will hear me say he or she interchangeably. Also, for these translations as well, some stories say that he literally transformed from a man to a woman, like I said, depending on the needs of the people, whereas other people feel that that is just symbolic to him being able to perfectly tap into each energy, masculine and feminine. And due to his appearance, sometimes if you were to ever see this in person or have a person depicted him in the physical form, you'll probably be like, is that a man or is that a woman? Not in an insulting way, but like, should I call you beautiful or should I call you handsome? Like, you look good. I just can't figure out in what way. Like the perfect blend of, so imagine this. For a male, all the features you find attractive, and for a female, all the features you find attractive. No matter who you're attracted to, you know, some people just got them good features that you like, no matter what. And put them together. Erinle, beautiful, perfect. Along with his appearance, you will always hear Erinle known to be decked out with the jewels, the finest garments. Very much, I like to take care of myself. Along with the appearance, you will learn and you will be seen depicted in drawings and paintings and other type of art that Erinle like to be dripped out in the finest garments, very beautiful colors and jewels. And this, they say this also taps into the asexual type because, you know, very into the appearance, got to keep my hair together. She's known to have very long flowing hair braided into 7 different braids. He likes to have his jewelry on, making sure he always nice and well groomed. Usually in imagery, you'll see him holding a staff or he'll have fishing hooks on it. Sometimes it'll have actual fish on it, basically to show the fishermen and their hunting side. And most of the times in pictures and how he is described, he'll have a snake wrapped around him as well. Erinle is known to be around his bros, his gang, his people, which consist of Ogun, Ochoisi, and Osai. So now getting into the stories, and like I say, there are so many. Okay. Erinle has many translations. So we're going to go over a few of the stories, starting off with the first one. So along with Erinle looking good, being decked out with the finest garments and jewels, keeping himself well groomed, she also could sing as well. While hunting, he would chant and sing to himself. He became known around to do that, so much to the point people would follow his sound to see where he was hunting, because he's a skilled hunter. So they like, listen, let's see where he had, just follow the sound, and to see where he's hunting, to see what he's doing. And people just genuinely wanted to see where that beautiful sound was coming from, because his voice was so sultry and beautiful. So he became a known round town, like, listen, it's this hunter who come through here always looking nice. He could sing, he'd be hunting, honey. And then all of a sudden this news got to Ogun, and like I mentioned in my Ogun story, Ogun was kind of like the hero of the area. So Ogun is like, oh, so y'all like who's singing? Oh, he sounds good. Oh, he's skilled. Better than me? Like who is this mystical creature that y'all are talking about? Until one day Ogun decided to follow the sounds as well and found his voice quite charming as well. Like, okay, this fella can sing. So one day when Ogun was able to catch up with him, he said, listen, Erinle, I hear your voice, I hear your chanting, I hear your singing, you sound pretty good. Listen, I know how to make beats. I don't know if you ever hear me with my iron when I be, but I know how to make a couple beats too. So listen, you teach me how to sing, I'll teach you how to drum, make some beats as well to go along with your singing. So from there, Ogun taught Erinle how to make some beats, how to drum, how to do some da-da-da-da-da-da. And then Erinle taught Ogun how to do some. And then from there, they became inseparable. They became the best of friends. In some translations, they say that relationship did turn to some relations, but in other translations, they just turned to really close friends and really close brothers. So depending on who you with, who you bees with, and where you come from, what house you in, or whoever you learn from, those stories will vary. But overall, they taught each other their gifts. They became inseparable. So let's pause right here for the story because y'all, speaking of Ogun, I know y'all kind of peep him over here, right? One of my subscribers, a very talented subscriber, sent me 2 figurines, statues that are handcrafted of the Orisha, like has them all. So this one right here is of Oshun, and I don't know if y'all see how detailed it is. There's the mirror, there's the river, there's the cattails, like all these little details that just go along with the characteristics of Oshun. And then we have Ogun right here. We see the iron, we see the steel, we see the horseshoe. And y'all, I feel like if you have any type of Orisha altar, anytime you work with them or you just want to build your collection, he has a bunch of more items as well. But y'all, I'm like impressed with these and how detailed they are. So there is an Etsy shop of the artist. I thank you so much for sending these items to me. I feel very grateful. Yo, this is insane. Like this feels like something you would buy from a botanica. Like, do y'all see this? Like, y'all, just look at the detail. Every single symbol craft in here symbolizes the Orisha. Like, this is insane. It's like the more you look at it, the more details you see. There's a sword right here. I just now noticed that. So yeah, you guys, I'll have their shop linked down below. And this is not sponsored. I'm not being paid to do this. This is just so unique. But when I got these, I'm like, hello, my people need these. So if you're watching this, thank you so much for sending these. This is very unique. And I know this isn't something easy to send to someone for free. So I really appreciate it. So make sure y'all get y'all some down below. But y'all, these will be so nice to have on your altar. Or like if you're burning a candle, or have one of each when you're burning a candle to them, have the statue neck. Oh, we about to do some witchcraft with these. Hello. Let's get back to the story. Ogun was not the only one that found Erinle singing to be impressive. Oshun did as well. She found him to be very attractive, was so fascinated with how he was able to tap into his masculine and feminine energy, and was just a beautiful balance of both, had the best type of features, dressed well. Oshun liked dressed well, had nice jewels on, was very popular. So Oshun was impressed with it. They ended up getting married, but they did not have a good marriage. Oshun began to grow jealous and didn't like that he spent so much time away hunting. Some stories say that he was off hunting with Ogun and Ochoisi and all of them. So she's like, you always out hunting with them. They had children, so she was always left with the children, or even got to the point where he was trying to train the children to go hunt too. So she was like, I don't like that you're always away. And that really affected their marriage. So the marriage ended up getting dissolved, and Oshun disavowed the children as well, which is why it's now told that Erinle is also a patron to single parents, because you know how it feels. Now, in another story, it shares that Erinle was married to Yemaya. While they were married, Yemaya invited him to the water realm, into her area. And then when he decided that he wanted to be on land as well, Yemaya was like, well, you done entered into my realm. You can't go off telling my secrets on how I do stuff. So she decided to cut out his tongue, where he could no longer speak and share her practices and her rituals and all of her secrets that were in the ocean. And then I believe this story is from the Caribbean translation, or a Caribbean version that is told. It tells that Yemaya was Erinle's mother, and during a family feud between Yemaya, Erinle, Shango, and Obatala, Erinle and Obatala were banished to the bottom of the ocean, and Erinle's tongue was cut out and ear was cut off, so he could no longer speak or hear. So Obatala and Erinle could no longer communicate, so they involved in relations in order to communicate with each other. And they said that that is a story that stems from how gay began, how men liking men began. So moving on to the next story, Erinle had his eye on someone he found extremely attractive. He was like, who is that? Who's that girl? Who is that? She was absolutely beautiful. He was captivated by her features. He was like, oh my gosh, who is that? But he couldn't talk to her, not because his tongue was cut out, not in this story, but because he was the wife of Shango. He was checking out Oba. So he knew he could not talk to her, so he would just constantly admire her from afar, being captivated by her beauty. But it got to the point where he kind of peeped game. And y'all know, I don't know if y'all watched my Orisha story where I was talking about Shango and his wife, so watch that. And he must have watched that too, because he peeped game. And he's like, listen, Shango not treating Oba well. You need a man like me to come treat you right, okay? He's on his Trey songs. So he genuinely felt like, you know what, she would be just better off with me. I'll make sure she feel beautiful, feel taken care of, get the attention that she need. So one day he got brave enough to try to get Oba from Shango. So Erinle marched up to Shango's place and demanded that Shango give him Oba. Like, listen, bro, give her to me. You don't treat her right. She'll be better off with me. I demand her now. So Shango was immediately like, who dude is this? And Shango immediately attacked him, throwing lightning and fire at him. And Erinle had to haul butt to get away from all of the attacks, so he turned himself into a river to escape the threats. And he never approached Oba again, but they say he still admired her beauty from afar. And immediately when I was taught that translation, I began to think, so he had got his ear cut off in the story, and Oba got her ear cut off in the story. Is there some type of connection to that, or was that some type of ritual that was consistently done? To me, it's just interesting in both translations that he was attracted to someone who had the same assault done to her that he had done to him in a different translation. You know, I try to find connections like that. It could be totally unrelated, but I just find that interesting. So first of all, I'm extremely happy that there is an Orisha that is known to be dedicated to the LGBT plus community, because I feel like with that community, they are consistently ostracized from all other religious and practices and demonized, where in this spirituality, they kind of have open arms. There's literally a whole Orisha just for them and their community. Just an Orisha, I believe that they can relate to. So I find that beautiful. I'm happy to share that story with y'all. And I feel that we could all learn from being able to tap into our masculine and feminine energy, because Erinle was so big, so strong. He was referred to as an elephant because how big and bright and intelligent he is. And I feel that it would not be possible if he weren't able to tap into his masculine and feminine energy. So that's why in my masculine and feminine energy video, I said that it's possible for us to be able to tap into both when necessary. I don't feel like you should always just sit in one because you feel like that's what you're supposed to do. Be able to tap into all and see all the things that open up when you're able to balance out those energies. So I feel like that's something we could take away from Erinle. And with that, I feel like that's why a lot of members of the LGBTQ plus community, they always have these unique talents where I'm like, if you weren't who you are, I feel like you would not have that talent. That talent is from the energies that you are able to tap into and embrace. Erinle colors are turquoise, indigo, and coral. His element in metal is gold, and he is known to be over lucky number 7. Thank you guys so much for tuning into this video. Let me know down below what you have taken away from this video.
All right, that was a bit of a chug. I did ask in the chat, I'm curious to see how many of you are familiar with this spiritual system, these stories. I find it interesting. Sometimes I think we don't relate to these stories well, and so we don't retain them very well. So I'm curious to see how many of us in a conscious space are familiar with these stories, have retained these stories, subscribe to them, etc. But that was a bit of a chug. A lot of comments went down during that play of the video, so I'll be very interested to hear what folks have to say. We're going to end at 11, so you can take a little bit of time for this. Let's start with Real Black Gentleman. What say you to this?
Look, I'm gonna be brief, man. Look, people tell stories all the time. People try to use culture to weave in activities in life. Look, I'm not going to sit here and major in minors. I'm not going to sit here and interpret, why that's like that. I'm not going to try to make a mountain out of a molehill, as it were. I think that You know what I'm saying? People gonna have their interpretations. I just think that this isn't it. I mean, I don't think that it makes any sense to try to. It just doesn't make any sense. I can't. I don't want to go in on it. It just is. I just think that people wind up having and to answer your question about the stories, I'm aware how you know what I'm saying, of some of these stories. Not many, but some. I mean, I get it. You know what I'm saying? This is how the pantheon, you know, this is how the gods interact with one another. I get it. This stuff like this, I feel like is something that a couple people spin up and gin up and try to, like, you know, put some like questionability into it and say that, well, I heard this from someone who heard this from someone. Like I said, I'm just going to keep it brief. I'm passing the mic.
I appreciate it, RBG. I also appreciate the fact that in your answer, you also answer that question. So I hope everyone else follows the same and answer how familiar are you guys with these stories. Let me go to Jacadero. Jacadero, what say you to this?
I'm not familiar with the Orishas, so I don't have anything to add to this.
Okay, all right, cool. Well, I mean, what about the idea that homosexuality is African? Well, what say you to that?
This is interesting because I remember I was young. I was in middle school, and I asked my dad, you know, like, hey, did this exist? Did, you know, men liking men, women liking women, did that exist? And he's like, from where we're from, that was a frowned upon. So from where I'm coming from, he was never aware about it. I had not seen it. And yeah, so I will say that, you know, just somebody earlier had spoken and said that you got to know people's agenda. If you have an agenda to try to make something acceptable, for instance, if let's say you come from a community where you want to say, hey, like, marrying your second cousins or your third cousins on your mother's side is okay, and you don't feel any type of way about it, you'll try to see that, hey, like, you know, this should be accepted or it should not be looked down upon. And then you'll try to use examples of maybe an ancient time or a time before where it's like, hey, yo, this specific situation was accepted in this society once ago, so why is it not accepted today? And I think that that's what she's doing. I feel like maybe somebody in her circle identifies with the LGBTQ, and she's really trying to reach and say, like, oh, well, I found like a story. And she could have generally just found a story, but I feel like she's just trying to spread her agenda, because more than likely she probably has somebody close to her that identifies with this group.
I agree with you. She's probably one of these, like someone said, I think it might have been Trigger Happy 262 plus in the chat. You know, she possibly one of these college educated liberal arts, went to Smith or some shit like that. and this is the lane that she's trying to go to be inclusive and intersectional and all this.
Yeah. Real quick, I want to say that, you know, this goes back to somebody earlier had pointed out, like, you know, you got to be a man. When I was younger, I'd say about 10 years ago, I went on a first date with, I think she was from Liberia, and she had asked me, you know, out of the blue, like, you know, what are your thoughts on gay marriage? And imagine I couldn't like say what I wanted to say, like, hey, I don't support that. I don't really care what they do. You know, me personally, I don't give a fuck. But like, I don't support that. I'm not gonna go and, like, you know, witness two of the same sex getting married. I'm not. Let me not try to. But instead, I said, I gave like a toe the line kind of answer. I'm not even gonna remember on how exactly I put it, but. And I just did it just because I wanted to get laid at the end of the night. And it's I laugh about it now, but it's because it's like, why couldn't I have been a man back then? And so where am I relating to that is like, if there are going to be men in that video, that specific video, if there are men that are going to be agreeing with that, I think maybe there's going to be a few of those guys that are going to be like, well, if I agree with that and let her know in the comments, maybe just maybe I might have a shot with her, because she's a good looking woman. But just be a man. Be a man. Whatever it is that you represent, stay 10 toes down on it.
Absolutely. Thank you for that, Jacadero. Let's welcome in our boy, Carl Ezekiah. Carl, how are you this week?
I'm doing good, Coco. How about yourself?
I'm doing good. I'm hanging in there. Thanks for coming through.
Oh, glad to be here, man. So I'm not familiar with the Orisha too much. Unfortunately, I received a very Western education, classical education. So, they taught us the Greek and the Roman. They didn't really teach us anything too much about the Orisha. Anything I know about the Orisha, I found as an adult. I had to go and do my own research. So I'm not familiar with Erinle, this person. Yeah, so I'm just a little, I'm hearing this for the first time, this mythology. So as far as the prompt, they say is homosexual of Africa. I believe homosexuality has existed among various cultures in society. It's not anything that's new. I think that there's always been some level of homosexuality. I think in most cases, African people, they generally tend to frown upon it. But I don't, prior to European colonization, I'm not aware of any mass persecution of homosexuals the way they have in European cultures and Islam, outside of Judeo-Christian uh, history. So I know that gay people exist, and they're gonna be around. Uh, so as far as the second question, which is why are Africans against this? Well, Africans are against this because most African people are Christians or Muslims. 95% of the African continent belong to some form of Abrahamic religion, and Abrahamic religions, uh, homosexuality is a sin against God. It says very clearly in the Bible that a man who lies with a man should be stoned to death. So that's the reason why Africans are against it, is because it's strictly coming from a Judeo-Christian foundation. It's considered to be ungodly. It's considered to be sinful. I think that if even though it may not be, it may not support it, I don't think you would have these laws against homosexuality the way that's going on in Africa right now if these countries were not majority Christian or Muslim countries. I think most people would, they may not agree with it, but I just live with it.
Thank you for that, Carl, and whoever
Okay, I'm sorry. Yeah, the over idea is just, it's just kind of, they live and let live. I think is the problem. I think they would just let it do. But that's just my answer to the problem. I'll move on. Thanks, Copeland.
No problem, Carl. Thanks for that. Let me hear from Buano this time. Buano, what's it?
Okay, so there are a few things going on here for me. So there are a few things going on. She is talking about stories, and I would like to know where she got her information from, who she got her information from, in terms of the gods, the Orishas that she is referencing. I would really like to know where she got this information from, because I know that in African religions have been very open to other peoples. You see, white women with dressing all white in Haiti, calling themselves mambas. You see many white women, some men, going to Africa and the continent, involving themselves in the tradition African practices, spiritual practices, and beliefs. You know what I mean? So, and they have ideas about the world. So I would really like to know where she got her information from in referencing the Orishas. I would like to know that first and foremost. So we ain't gonna question. She is a pretty lady, but now because of our commentary, I have to wonder if she is actually a woman. Needless to say, in terms of homosexuality in African practices, see, the colonialists, when they went to Africa, prior to Christianity and prior to Islam, what they did is they wrote.
about what they saw and experienced on the continent of Africa in terms of the African people who were there. They left copious notes about the African people. One of the foremost things they talked about us, when they referred to us, they say we are a bunch of polygamists. Like women, love women, have a bunch of them, even into the hundreds of wives. You know, I don't see the what was left in terms of when they wrote that we had major practices or even minimal practices of homosexuality. They would have written about it. And even with the Africans themselves, please point me to some references in terms of the local people to say, well, this was our practice on the continent. We always believe in homosexuality prior to the coming of the Western world. We believed in the practice of homosexuality, and here is the evidence of that. I don't see these things. I can't find it. If someone could point me to, the only thing I knew about is some woman, some female pharaoh used to dress up as a man because of her position in Egypt. I heard some reference into that, but she wasn't. She knew she was a woman. Yeah, she knew she was a woman. So I just want some evidence in terms of where you could point me to in referencing this to suggest that homosexuality was a cultural practice in Africa. If I can't find that information, well, now we going off of speculation, and I'm wondering where is this information actually coming from? That's the problem I have with her giving us a synopsis in terms of the spiritual God. Another thing too is when you say that the he-she God, this he-she God had kids. And it's laughable. It's laughable because the African mind don't work that way. How can a man produce children with another man? How can a man God produce children with another man God? It's not in the referencing of the mind of African men or Africans themselves. The only people who I would see come up with these kinds of things is Greeks and Romans because they were fascinated by the male anus. So, like I say, point me to some references in terms of where she would have gotten these stories from. I know she have stories, but I would like to know where she got these stories from, who she got these stories from, so I could have some understanding, some context, and where she coming up and contriving these stories. That's all I gotta see.
I've never heard fascinated and anus in the same sentence. That shook me up a little bit just now. But thank you for that, Buana. Let's hear from Oni. Oni, would say you.
Yeah, this woman, POS, piece of shit. No, I didn't say that, but yeah, I guess I said it earlier. People have agendas, and this woman, we talk about grifters in the quote unquote conscious community. This is one of the grift. This is the worst type. The ones who kind of just make up shit to fit some sort of twisted agenda. You could say what you want about Umar Johnson. He's not, the Orishas say that, you got to do that. He's not doing that. He's not, you got to blame men by the Orisha. He's not doing that. This woman, I don't know if she has any information, any genuine information, but suppose she does. She's using it to promote the LGBT, something that as Buana just put, would have been minuscule in Africa, would have been discouraged and frowned upon in Africa. And the way how and then today, the LGBT, it's consuming the Black community. Like 15%, maybe even let's say 20% of young people identify with LGBT. When once upon a time it was frowned upon. And we have to understand, if you say, hey, is this African? Is this natural? Look, guys, if you want to talk about African and natural, pedophilia, not saying that was something that was popular in Africa. No, but I'm saying is that we know it's very likely that there were people who messed with children, but they weren't sanctioned and they were taken care of, and not taken care of in a nice way. I mean, taken care of, right? So yeah, if there was some sort of deviant behavior, And now that is a more probable deviant behavior. But nobody's going to say, is pedophilia African? We're not going to do that. We're not going to sit around and, what about this deity that had pedophilia? Or what about this deity that had incest? We're not going to do that. We're going to say, hey, you know what? Well, with the incest thing, that's a mistranslation, right? But we're going to say, you know what? Different time. And the thing is this, with the LGBT stuff, it wasn't even a different time. She's just making shit up. Or somebody just made shit up. You got to realize these stories are just shit people made up. And the sooner we realize that, the better. Because I'll tell y'all, I made a mistake and sometimes, trying to, be open-minded about this stuff. Because when you're open-minded about this stuff, you don't know the other person's agenda for sharing with you this quote-unquote insight that you couldn't have got on your own.
Good point.
You understand? She has an agenda. She's trying to promote her she's trying to promote the LGBT community and all that kind of stuff. And this is what I mean about blaming black men. This is what I mean. I know Coke was like, wait, where you go there? I mean like this. This woman's showing so many red flags. Now, like Buana, I don't even know if it's a woman or not. You know what I'm saying? At this point, I don't know. But that's the whole thing. When a woman starts pushing the LGBT community, you're supposed to leave your dick at home. Okay? You talking to a woman and she's like, hey, you want the LGBT, blah, blah. You leave your dick alone. In fact, that's another red flag that I fucking fucked up on. When I met my son's mother, her best friend, not her best, I think her best friend was a gay guy. And I was like, oh, you know how all brothers are. You know how these black women, they got all these gay friends, man. You know how it is. And, I kind of did pressure her to get rid of the gay friend, but that was my fault. I should have, because originally I was like, oh, you got a gay friend? All right, bye. Right? But then she was like, no, do blah, 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 blah. But that's what I'm saying. You have this woman straight up, and we're like, yo, she's good looking. Okay? She's good looking. Oh, I would talk to her. Oh, she's wise. Or I'll sit at her feet. Or I'll try to learn. Like what I said early, when she started playing that video, as soon as she said that shit, as soon as she said that disrespectful shit, even though you want to be quote unquote open-minded, but as soon as she came up with that agenda, it was skipped past. But instead, what we did was we listened to her. If we had a spirituality platform, right, or a spirituality conversation, we'd invite her on to speak with her. If we wanted to have a spirituality conversation, we sit and go on a date with her. And all of a sudden, we done fucked up because all our kids on that Gabrielle Union time. You understand? This is what I mean about when we as black men, we come together, we gotta warn each other and say, look, there are red flags. Trust your damn self. People have agendas. And even the people once upon a time, even our ancestors had agendas. You understand? A lot of the stories, if you look into the origin of the story, like for instance, go to the Anansi stories. Those are the stories I'm more familiar with. I'm not really familiar with every Yoruba story, obviously, but I've seen some Anansi fables. When you look at Anansi fables, you realize a lot of the stories that came out of Africa, or for the Anansi stories, they were children's stories trying to explain things in the world that maybe the adults didn't understand, or maybe the adults didn't want to explain. Like, why is the sky blue? Or why does everybody have common sense? That's one that was from Anansi, right? Why is this, that, so and so? Oh, why is the moon so far away, right? Or whatever, right? They're not like, we know why the sky is blue. Okay? We know why the sky is blue, and I don't have to. If I ask my son, hey, why the sky is blue, and then he just says because of the sun, and that's right. So I'm like, okay, cool. But like, I would probably say Rayleigh scattering. I don't have to tell him a make-up story about Anansi painting the sky blue because it's his favorite color, or he lost his son. I don't got to do that. But our ancestors did that. We now sitting by listening to that story and saying, oh, this is our secret of spirituality. We looking silly. And if we and it's like, okay, that's fine if you realize it's just a story and has a purpose. If you listen to this woman, she told you, she said, hey, look, some of our ancestors were trying to justify the LGBT stuff in the community already. And so they started talking about this Erinle differently. She says this. That's all you have to hear. But instead, what she does is she's like, she does the whole Cardi B routine, right? And then we're dumber now. And we're looking at it like it's some serious thing that, like, we're deficient. We gotta look more into these obscure Yoruba stories. And these obscure Yoruba stories don't do nothing for us. Or except for trying to push a new demographic that's fucking everything up for us. Or destroying black families. You know, if we don't like Gabrielle Union, we don't like Gabrielle Union or what's going on with her son, her son, right? If we don't like what's going on with her son, right, then we have to step up and say, you know what? I don't want to listen to no pro-LGBT shit. Because you can't have your cake and eat it too. You know what I mean? Sometimes you gotta say to yourself, look, I'm gonna censor. I gotta censor myself. I gotta censor some stuff because if I were to play this to my son, and then he suddenly, I want to wear a dress. That's all me. As a black father, I should have said, you know what? I'm not gonna show him this shit. You know, if he's older and he sees that shit and he runs by me, I'll tell him the same thing. It's just some dumb shit. People have agendas. Watch out, son. That's all I'm gonna say.
I appreciate that. Only in the chat, Trigavi262 Plus says, yeah, I interpret that she's inserting things, but not necessarily a defect on our stories and practices. A lot of comments in the chat, you guys. You've listened to the replay, check out all the comments in the chat. Well, that brings us finally to Urzuli. Urzuli, speak about it.
To be honest, I follow some of the Orisha and Voodoo and different stories. I've never came up on that story, to be honest, of that. But there's an echo. I don't know if that's me. I never came up to this, like, especially in the Voodoo culture. Every male spirit and female spirit got their counterpart, especially in the Voodoo culture. Like Dambara, who is supposed to be the creator of humanity, is in love with Ayewedo. I don't know. I might not be Ayewedo, a female. So Ezuli is with Agwe, and it's always there's always a female and male counterpart. So I've never seen this in Voodoo, but I've never heard this story pre maybe 5 years or 3 years ago. I've never heard a story like that coming from the Orishas, but I've heard people say that they had that in Egypt and stuff like that. So I'm just saying that. But besides what she's saying, did you follow the story? It's about all sexual deviant. Oh, he's stealing this woman from this man. Like, if your gods are sleeping with other people's wives and taking other people's wives, doesn't that say something about your own psychology as a people? I'm not saying. What I'm saying is, and I spoke to my parents prior. They said that they were like homosexuality was there back in their days, not like it is now. To be honest, so I'm just saying that why are we so against it? What if this is true? So I feel like what everybody's saying, like her, I feel like she has, like, they're always going to use the female to bring this to you. But I read, when I did my research, most of the people that were talking her viewpoints were women. And a couple of guys, but those guys were like homosexuals themselves. So I was trying to find, but that's what they saying. If that's true, like Oni and everybody say everybody has their own agenda. Even when you listen to certain stories that came from like Anansi and all of that, everything that has their agenda. So what can we trust, bro? Like, I feel like this is like, so I don't know, man. But I've never heard that. I heard and if the fact that she put Ogun in the Haitian culture, Ogu is is the epitome of masculinity. The fact that she just put them together because like she doesn't even have any evidence. She just said, "Oh, Ogun and Erinle were friends." Some people thought like this is crazy, but to be honest, I've never heard a story like that until lately. So I don't know if in 2000 she was spewing this or whatever. So the fact that she put Ogu in there, I've never heard a story like that in the Haitian community, in the Voodoo community, because Ogu is like the man of justice, the man of iron, and he's not. I've never heard a story like that. So I'm guessing that Ogu and the Voodoo spirituality may be the same as the Ogun and their and the Orisha spirituality. So I don't know, but there's other. It's not just the Orisha. They got the Odinanis from the Igbo people. So I haven't seen any videos coming out saying they have those type of relations in the Odinani, and especially in like Anansi and what's the Akon people, Niame or stuff like that. But if in that story we hear other stuff that two male spirits is taking another male spirit's wife, all of this, like there's a lot of sexual things going on in that story that she said, and we see them play out live in our own life today about, oh, I'm sleeping with this married man, these female, this married woman. So what I'm trying to say is that hip hop, I'm bringing it to hip hop because hip hop talks a lot, and R&B takes a lot about taking other people's men, sleeping with other people's women, and stuff like that. And then we see these same stories play out in the pantheons of and to say, if the gods are sleeping with each other's wives, and why wouldn't the people do it? And at the end of the day, is that conducive to a good community if people are sleeping with each other's significant other? No. So when the brothers just say, oh, Islam and Christianity, but in a way, if you don't sleep with other people's wives and husbands, the community functions better. So it's just weird to me that some of those stories, like what can we expect from a group of people who their spirits are having sex with other people's wives and women? So that was just something I saw, and I was like, we can't. The Caribbean, a lot of the black people are kind of like apprehensive towards it. So, but it's in our, according to her, and I saw other videos, they say it's in the spirituality. So I don't know, man.
Urzuli say, what can you trust? You know, so my response to that is, if any male god in any religion, any African religion, make it okay to shoot another male god up his god anus, I say that's a god that you shouldn't be following. You know, my common sense speaking. So in terms of the trials and tribulations, the different kinds of stories, I say use your reason, bro. Use your reason. Use your natural reasoning. You know what I mean? What is conducive for the environment that you live and exist in? Now, I can't speak for the supernatural things that occur within African practices. That's more your lane. But I would only say, as any male god make it okay to shoot another male god up his rectum, that's not a god you should be following.
But even in that story, she said the male god had kids with the female god. I don't think she said, because Oshun is a female. Oshun is a female god. That's the god of the river. So even though she's saying that, she seems to be saying that that god is maybe a bisexual entity or something like that. So I'm just saying, but even in the story, there's a reproduction. So I don't know, man. I just feel like people are being misled. Just like Oni said, people make up their stuff. Generation make up their stuff. Are we ever gonna find out the truth? Like this, it's really disturbing to be honest.
I think the idea is that the truth doesn't necessarily matter. You have to create the, you have to manage the narrative. You know, whatever it was, it was. But you gotta start telling a story that's going to, be best for you. You know. Let's welcome in the matron this week. I haven't seen the matron in a while. How are you, my dear?
I'm okay. How are you guys doing tonight?
Hey, Matron, long time no hear.
Cool. Hey.
Hey, matron. Hey, matron.
Hey. All right. So what I wanted to say about this topic is that we have to recognize that all kingdoms are destroyed by sexual and social integration. And this community has, for the past 20 years that I have observed, made attempts at interjecting itself centered in the conscious community, whether it's the Black woman is God and totally disregarding the man, or their attempts at retelling our stories and narratives to make the gods more sexually androgynous. And we have to get away from people that are trying to push and promote these narratives, because at the end of the day, it's anti-creation. And we know that as the mothers and fathers of all human beings, we need a man and a woman to procreate. So we have to stop listening to these people that are perverting the past. That's it.
Thank you for that, matron. Hey, we have 5 minutes remaining. If there's any last words, let's have them out now.
No, just gonna say, I appreciate matron for that observation, but I also want to point out that this woman, saying something about I got to get my masculine energy up type thing. That's another red flag that brothers is not picking up on. A woman telling you that kind of stuff, she's going to try to run you down. She's going to bring some opposition energy to you that you don't need. She's not going to be your peace. She's going to bring war to you just for the sake of bringing war to you. There's a lot of that out there. So just watch out. This is like y'all don't even know, but there's just a lot of bad women out there. A lot of bad advice out there. There's a lot of, you men are trying to control us. You men are control a lot of that. And I'm telling you, it's not like don't think you could fix it. Just find you a good woman and enjoy your life. That's it.
I want to say something that Oni just brought up, like when she said the masculine, but every gender has a masculine and feminine, has the masculine and feminine energy within them. So it's just like a father might be tough on his son to tell him, keep doing push-ups, versus the next day the son comes up and says he has an issue and the father's more nurturing. Just like a single mother
holding hands.
Just like a single mother could be tough on her son. Hey, don't give up, go. And then the next time, so both genders, but like the way she used it is like, I don't know if she's being genuine with that. So using it to infuse that story, she said like, or for a man to be really masculine, he has to be, no. Male is more with the masculine energy and female is more with the female energy, but we have both within us. Again, the 7 Hermetic principles says that every gender has both energy in them. Energy and gender are two different things to me. So, like, I don't know. I'm just saying, I saw this, and I saw this video. I was like, yo, a lot of us, and I've even seen it that they putting it in the Egyptian pantheons too. So, I don't know, man. Well, Rihanna, it's not me. Like, it's her story. She said, that lady said she's deep into Orisha. So I can't produce what she said, but I spoke to somebody that's not true. Somebody who's deep into it, but I don't know.
Well, let me ask Koku something. Koku, so do you feel like you sometimes bring feminine energy to your son?
No.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. See, this is what I'm trying to say. What I'm saying is that we have these people.
So let me. What are we defining as feminine energy?
Hold on a second. Let me say this. We have people in the conscious community who are pushing this dual energy nonsense to us, right? And it's all in the guise because these kind of women come inside of our spaces and just be like, oh yeah, you got to get that masculine, you got to get that feminine, and all of a sudden there's a story about we as black fathers lurking over our sons, giving them feminine energy. I ain't never given my son no feminine energy. Not one day of my life, not one moment of my life was I like.
But what exactly is feminine energy? Exactly. Let's define it. What is that?
No, exactly. That's exactly what I mean. If you said, have I been like for instance, Erzuli gave the example of you being nurturing to your kid or something like that, right? That's not feminine. That's like you could be a man and nurturing. The thing is, you there all of a sudden saying you associating me being like me not like if my son falls down, I put a band-aid on his leg, right? You associating that with me being a woman or me being quote unquote feminine. That's where everything becomes confusing,
bro.
Because that's not feminine.
Hey, you gotta watch out for that yin and yang type of
exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Where that's East Asian yin and yang, and ascribing masculine and feminine to like various characteristics. That's some strictly Asian stuff. That yin and yang type stuff. I know. Don't go for that.
You'll start holding some dude's hand,
bro. So you try having a mother around then. If there's no such thing as feminine energy.
No, I was saying a man bringing feminine energy don't make no sense.
Bro, yes it does, bro.
To you?
Well, wait. We can talk about like estrogen and testosterone levels in people. I mean, men have estrogen and testosterone, but men typically have much more testosterone. I mean, we can talk about hormonal balances, but I mean, you don't want a woman with a whole bunch of testosterone. That's not necessarily ideal.
But what I'm saying is what you even in the physical form, you have testosterone, estrogen in your body. So why would men in the spiritual form or in the mental form not have feminine and male energy inside of them? That makes no sense, bro.
Well, that's the thing. You see, that's what I'm saying, because we start so like I said, that's why you got to be a skeptic. That's why you got to be a skeptic, because see, when you come and you start talking to physicists about we got feminine and masculine energy, right?
No.
You already using the wrong words. You see what I'm saying? Because you got kinetic and potential energy, right? You don't got physical. You don't got masculine and feminine energy.
Bro,
now you're using a different term. But what I'm saying is that you're telling me that your terms don't make sense. Of course, they're not going to make sense if you're talking about energy as feminine or masculine.
Bro, are you saying don't you have estrogen in you?
That's not energy.
Bro, what you're not listening to is in the physical form, your body has estrogen in it anyway. So why in the mental or spiritual form would you not have feminine energy in you?
But that you know what estrogen is, and you know what testosterone is, and again, you still associating a gender to testosterone and estrogen based off of the human anatomy and what that pertains to. But again, that's just you associating two things and then saying, well, now it should apply to another completely different realm that you don't even understand.
Bro, that's the same way people make hypotheses. That's based on science. They see something little and they hypothesize that it's in the bigger form. Vice versa.
Make it true.
What are we talking about?
So but anyway, I know that Koku's looking at the clock. But
okay. So if you're trying to say a father cannot tap into his feminine energy to like what are we talking about, bro?
All right, you talking about hormones, right? A man has, I don't know the measurements for a man's testosterone versus a man's estrogen. Of course, a man produces testosterone. Of course, a man produces estrogen. However, what we're talking about, again, you don't have to associate a man with feminine qualities because biologically he has estrogen as well as testosterone. You don't have to do that. But what you do is you're choosing to do that, and then you're bringing it even further to where all of a sudden you're making up deities having sex with each other.
Is there any such
and men giving birth to children? Making up shit.
First of all, that's not what she said. But is masculine?
Yes, she did. She said Erinle is a dude, and whatever is a dude, and he had kids with Ogun.
He had kids with the female Oshun energy.
No, he had kids with Ogun.
No, he did not. That's not what she said. Go listen to. Okay, I'm not gonna.
I ain't gonna do that.
I'll listen it back too. All I'm saying is that for us to say that there's masculine women, right? If there's masculine women, there's feminine men. So that means that and men and women, they have the female and male energy within them. You tap into whatever. So let's not act like certain people. So you mean to tell me that?
And by the way, let me say this before you finish. He did definitely say Ogun because she said after Ogun left him, right? He became the patron for single parents. So she definitely
was it Oshun? I think you said Oshun. I think Oshun might be right.
Bro.
No, he did both. He did Ogun first, and then he did
Oshun. Remember, Oshun left him because he was doing too much hunting, and he took kids with him. So that's why.
No, it was the drummer Ogun who was drumming.
But he was out. He was out. Partying.
I think she did both.
She said Oshun. All I'm saying is, for you to say a man does not have female or feminine energy, that's bullshit. We both have. If the physical body that the Creator made had estrogen and testosterone, you best to believe that that same body has a female and feminine mentality.
I mean, I could say something like men have XY chromosomes, but women don't have no Y chromosome. There's something that makes a man that a woman just isn't.
Exactly.
That's a good point. Good point. Good point.
Yeah.
We're gonna end it on that note.
That's it. Yeah.
I want to thank everyone. Yeah, that was a good point. I want to thank everyone who came out tonight. I want to thank everyone who's in the chat. Thanks to KW Don 7 for the super chat. It says, I am only dealing with straight black pride. I agree with you, as did Yana B. You guys make sure to check out all the other shows on the network. Make sure to like and share the episode, talk about it in the comment section, etc. Join the Discord as well. It's in the description. Erzul, you want to shout anything out this week?
Nah, great show. That's it. Cool.
Appreciate it. Revolutionary Matron, you want to shout anything out this week?
I just appreciate you having me on your show. I want to thank everybody that came in and participated in the conversation. And no, that's pretty much it.
All right. Thank you for coming through, man. Glad to see you. Carl, you want to shout anything out this week?
No, I'm just glad to be here. I enjoyed the conversation. I hope we can keep this going offline, and I'll see everybody next week.
All right, Jackadero, you want to say any last words?
Yeah, for anybody that cares, I didn't get laid on that date, even though I told the line. So the message is just stay 10 toes down, because really, as the man, she's supposed to come into your life and adapt herself, not the other way around.
I appreciate that. Who did I not get to? Buana, you want to shout anything out this week?
Yeah, shout out. First of all, let me say this. Shout out to everyone who contributed tonight. Brother Bakari and KW Dawn, much respect to y'all brothers. Shout out to everybody who verbally contributed tonight. Y'all give very valuable comments. Shout out to Erzuli. Erzuli used the term like hermetic principle. I'm trying to figure out where would a Haitian guy like him would learn a word like that. He needs to start watching too much YouTube videos. But lastly, let me shout out Jackadero. Jackadero said that he didn't get laid that night. Understand, brother, that there are always other opportunities. You know what I mean? You are more in the driver's seat than you believe and think. You're going to get in a continuity where you should turn down, opportunities. You should use discretion with what you got in your pants. So don't worry about it. There'll always be other opportunities. Don't sweat it, brother.
I appreciate it.
That's it.
Appreciate it.
First of all, the Hermetic principles, they stole that from Thoth, which is the Egyptian person. So don't try to play me, man.
Where you learn thought from? I mean,
Talk that shit,
that's
Azubi. Talk that shit, my G.
He's coming up with these things like it's like where you learning these things from, bro? You know, stop watching
Stop
YouTube
playing in
videos,
that man's face. That man ain't no
stop
fool.
trying to play like you was a professor, bro. Stop it, bro.
Y'all ain't shit. Y'all ain't shit.
Only, what do you want to shout out this week, man? You're on mute.
Only's going back to Kenya.
All right, I guess Only dropped off or something.
Oh
right,
yeah. Lastly. Let me lastly. Matron, it's wonderful to hear your voice, sister. I really want you to come back. I know you got things going on. It's always about ebb and flow. You and Tanzan, you're wonderful sisters, and we miss your voice. But we understand it's always ebb and flow. Y'all doing your thing, but we miss y'all. So don't think that we don't miss y'all.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I'll be back soon. I'm just trying to pull it together. Thank you.
You know, thank you for that, Buana. That's some real talk.
Well, Buana always trying to get some. Buana, you still not getting some, just like the other brother. Matron is busy.
No, here's the thing. I want you to spell hermetic. I want you to spell hermetic. Spell that shit. Yeah.
All right. We'll be back next week. Make sure to post your Shoot the Breeze topics on the Discord.
Cool.
Yes, sir.
I just want to give a shout out to you know what I'm saying, the spirit of Matulu Shakur. That's all I just want to say, you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
I just want to say that, you know what I'm saying, Black Power.
Oh, he died?
Yeah, he died, yeah.
Oh shoot, man. Rest in power. Mike. Okay. All right.
Yeah. Thank you for that, RBG. We'll be back next week. Post your topics on the Discord. And you guys, in the meantime, you guys be good. Check out all the other shows on KWAZ Radio. Until next time, I'll talk to y'all soon. Peace.
Thanks for listening to the Bitter Medicine Podcast with your host, Koku. If you like what you just heard, we hope you pass along our web address, bittermedicineblogs.com, to your friends and colleagues, and share our show to all your social media. Be sure to check out our archive section on our website for previous podcasts. This has been a KWAZ radio production. Join us next time for another session of the Bitter Medicine Podcast. Follow us on Facebook at Bitter Medicine Show, Twitter, Bitter Meds, Tumblr, Bitter Meds, Instagram, Bitter Medicine.